Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Sailing. I am a beast, my sister 4 emperors Linlin. Chapter 1. Sea Circle Calendar 1459. Forest Island. New Lamb House. It's been a year. A boy with a dog's tail grass in his mouth, lying on his back on the newly built roof, throwing away the fasting day Linlin made before. Is it still stable? Suddenly, his thoughts were interrupted by a burst of laughter from below. Hee ha ha. Wait for me. I'm going to be killed by Linlin. Wait for me. Big brother, you too. Linlin, brother Asa can't run, or he'll be hungry again. Ha ha. Quote. On the open grassland, there are children who have been taken in, of various races, Murloc, long-handed, Pandarin, fur tribe. Almost all. There are also those with special identities, such as the perishing little prince who was hunted down. Of course, the most special thing is a giant toddler with pink hair and a height of 3 or 4 meters. She was full of smiles, innocent face. Just looking at his demeanor, he might really be harmless to humans and animals. Only those who understand can know how terrifying it is. Her name is Charlotte Linlin, also the sister of Asa on the roof. A year ago, both of them were abandoned. Linlin was caused by his overgrown body and the destruction of his hometown. Asa, it is more serious. Not only did he eat a lot, but he was also seen turning into a demon and committing intolerable things. Even New World, there's no shortage of uninformed people. Asa didn't think much about it. He also has an identity, the time traveler. As for turning into a monster, pure nonsense. The real situation is that Asa ate the devil fruit in the form of Niu fruit, phantom beast, and glutton. Or is it the fruit of everyone? Who knows? At that time, it was not well controlled, which scared many people. Speaking of crossing, Asa was born in this world 6 years ago, and she and her younger sister Linlin are twins. Asa's sister is Charlotte Linlin, the big name in the future. Building pirates, Utopia, the only woman among the 4 emperors. The strongest woman recognized in the sea. Bigmom. The natural physique is different from ordinary people, with copper tendons and iron bones, and natural supernatural power. In childhood, he was invincible. Even if you don't practice, you can become stronger while lying down. It's a real pity. As a twin brother, Asa didn't have this talent as he grew older. But there is also a change, and that is the color of knowledge. He was born. You can read the voices of others and communicate spiritually, and this is getting stronger with age. As for sensing emotions, sensing danger, and enemy positions. Not to mention these basic functions. It's all basics. What really made Asa a time traveler beyond expectation was the speed at which his experience changed. Until now, he has been able to forcibly distort his will, read other people's memories, and even briefly predict the future. This kind of talent is not rare. Instead, it doesn't exist at all. Unprecedented. It is a sensational level in the outside world. After all, even if it is a top-level existence, it can only reach this level at most. Not even as good as. Because Asa is too comprehensive, a collection of all the derivative directions of knowledge and color, the real top performer. Perhaps, also be able to outnumber him in hockey. With such a talent, she is naturally not inferior to her younger sister. Not to mention that when she was just 5 years old, Asa also ate the gluttonous fruit, which made up for her physical shortcomings. Needless to say, the only flaw, probably, food intake. It's not a big deal, luffy guys, that one has no appetite. Again, the tree attracts the wind, the above abilities Asa has not actively exposed, before gaining decisive power. That will only attract snoopers. At this stage, in this sea, one cannot be too careful. Closer to home, Asa's abnormality, coupled with Linlin's craving for food, double contradictions broke out. As a result, the 2 of them were sent to Elbaf and adopted by nuns. This year, in addition to taking care of her sister, Asa instills personal values. Correct boot outside. They are silently accumulating strength. Although, Teodi. As the 4 fierce beasts in mythology, they have unlimited potential, but no matter how strong they are, it takes time to grow and develop. Children. At this time, a gentle old lady's voice called out to everyone, and upon hearing this voice, everyone gathered obediently. Except for Asa, who is still on the roof. Very unique. The nun was smiling and didn't care. After looking back, she just explained that she was going out for a while, so, then I'll ask you to take care of the house. I'll clean the toilet, I do the laundry. Linlin will protect everyone. When can I come back? Although they are all children, the division of labor is very clear among the members of Lamb's house. I'll be right back after shopping. The nun's smile remained undiminished, her expression soft. What gifts do you want? The children were very excited to hear the politeness. Strawberry cake. Poker. I want a martial arts suit. Heard that. The nun nodded with a smirk. I see, what about? Asa. She looks up. Elder brother. Linlin was also happy, and waved his hand towards the roof. I know, it must be a lot of food, right? The above responded casually. What an introverted child. The nun smiled and shook her head. Then Asa, you have to be on the roof and watch everyone. After finishing speaking, she turned around with the children waving her hands. Only, no one noticed that the moment she turned around, her gentle face changed suddenly, becoming gloomy and greedy. Except for one, Asa. He releases the color of knowledge all the time, and no emotional fluctuations can escape the perception. Naturally including nuns. Finally, single quote. Is it time for a showdown? Single quote. Forest Island, the shore of the island. A ship belonging to world government is moored here. The flag above was fluttering in the wind, as if looking at something from a distance. Not long after, a person came out of the forest. She boarded the ship and pushed open the cabin door. She was very familiar with the process, and she had obviously been here more than once. Very punctual. Sister Carmelite. There is a round table in the dark cabin, waiting for 2 people, and 1 person is sitting. All come standard with masks and white clothes. The 3 are exactly CP0. From, the full name of Cipher Pole AIGIS 0, known as the world's strongest cipher pole place. Of course, have I ever missed an appointment? Carmelite walked down the stairs. Hurry up and start talking about business. She approached behind the round table, throwing out a stack of photos. It was the adopted children, including Linlin and Asa. I have wonderful children here. It was you who did not hesitate to leave Elbaf. The sitting CPO said in a surprised tone. You don't want to give up that girl either. Well, now that I understand, then think about it carefully. The talent who destroyed half of Elbaf's village at the age of 5. Carmelite sat down and took out a cigarette. Little son Homitz got out of his clothes and set fire to him. CP0 is a little embarrassed. But, this price. It's impossible for you not to take it out. If you do Marine, you will be at the Admiral Marshal level in the future. The nun didn't care. She knew that the world government couldn't let this genius go. If you send it to CP, it will become the strongest shield of celestial dragons. This is the best product I have bought and sold for children in 50 years. She exhaled a thick mist. The giants made their own connections. That's why there was the first giant, Marine, and the same world government. She also sent a lot of good qualifications. Traffickers. This transaction is successful, and she is the most successful if she succeeds and retires. Unfortunately, human traffickers, no one will award medals. What are you still thinking about? It's not easy for me to be a virgin. Seeing that CPO was still hesitating, she stood up directly, intending to spit. Okay, money, I will find a way. CP0 couldn't stand this, so he changed the subject and drew another photo. This boy is her brother, right? As a real brother and sister, there must be something special about him. How much do you know? Asa. Carmelite turned his eyes slightly, thought for a moment, and parted his red lips. A very precocious child. As for the special ability, it seems that he can predict danger in advance. She tried her best to raise the price. After all, it was the last order. Knowledgeable. The 2 partners behind CP0 looked at each other. It's very rare for a 6-year-old to be knowledgeable without exercising. Think about them. When did they wake up? There is no way to compare. If trained well, becoming a top expert in knowledge is not impossible. Oh, sitting CP0 also felt a pleasant surprise. Compared to Linlin, who is unstable and has cravings, espionage organizations naturally prefer those that are easier to control. If so, this kind of qualification, looking at the whole new world, is also excellent. And people who are good at knowledge are the most suitable for hiding. It is very suitable for their CP. Rest assured. Carmelite looked back with a smile. These brothers and sisters, I will personally deliver them to you, and I will never be disappointed. Better. The two parties shake hands and the transaction is completed. Finally, it was agreed that the marine ship would be sent to receive it the next day. Carmelite got off the boat, smoked several cigarettes, and only stepped into the forest ahead after he was satisfied. Yes, in order to maintain the image, I seldom smoke in front of my children unless I can't help it. People set up very well. I didn't expect that kid Asa to bring me extra income. The Carmelites were quite sorry. If I knew it earlier, I would have blown it up. Asa's ability to predict danger, she saw it once by chance, thought it was an accident, so she didn't care much. I didn't expect CP0 to take it very seriously, it's a pity. It's a pity. After all, it's the last business deal. You said I was so weak, but you lost a lot of money. Suddenly, a childish voice sounded not far away. Carmelite paused, turned around abruptly, seeing a very familiar face standing next to the giant tree with arms crossed. Asa. Child. The corners of Carmelite's mouth were a little stiff, and his mental quality was good, and he quickly recovered his face. Why are you here? Why are you running out alone? It's dangerous outside. Asa didn't speak, just listened quietly, waiting for her to finish. And the Carmelites. He explained a lot with a smile and made his voice hoarse, but he still turned a deaf ear when he saw Asa. There is even a bit of a smile. She took a deep breath and didn't intend to pretend any more. This kid is not easy. When exactly? Found. If you were on the boat just now. How did you overhear it again? And, even CP0, who is best at this method, can't detect it. Carmelite can't figure it out. Child, I am also for your own good. Marine and world government are both justice organizations. Carmelite didn't think too much about it at all. He hoped to gain understanding inside and outside the words, and I also need money to maintain goodwill. After all, the Virgin also needs to eat. So, Asa put one hand in his pocket, and she didn't get in. Those children who can't be sold in the end and have no qualifications. Where are they going? As soon as these words came out, Carmelite paused. Immediately, he held his forehead with one hand, looking very helpless, and didn't want to continue explaining. It seems that you can't understand good intentions, child. She just finished speaking. There was a burst of heat behind Asa. Boom. Its little son Homits, Pandora. It hung in the air, and spat a pillar of fire at Asa. Take up some strength. No matter how good a product is, it is worthless if it is destroyed. The Carmelites showed their true colors. Boom. At the same time, there was a sound of muddy burning, but unfortunately, before the flames dissipated, there was no one in place. When Carmelite calms down and sees clearly, Asa has already flickered into the air, clutching the burning Pandora with one hand, the palm of her hand turned black. Clang. Steel chime. As the veins bulged, Pandora began to twist under Asa's strength. None. It wailed, as if in extreme pain. Boom. Before Carmelite could react, Pandora suddenly exploded, turning into little flames. With the soul fragments dissipating in the air. What's going on? Pandora. The attack failed, and Carmelite's complexion quickly turned pale. I don't know. Is it the backlash caused by the tearing of Pandora's soul? The Carmelites were amazed. Whether it is speed or strength, it is simply impossible, and it is something that a little devil can display. And her Pandora. Don't be afraid of any physical attacks. This Asa, how much is hidden? Armament hockey, haven't you seen it? You haven't practiced enough. My lady mother. Asa landed with an inexplicable tone. Afterwards, her face became more and more ferocious, becoming more and more like an old witch, and she couldn't help but sighed. First of all, thank you for your care over the past year, and for bringing joy to Linlin. For those little ghosts, build a shelter. Pity. Children only talk about good and bad, adults only pay attention to benefits. It's a pity that you are always greedy and stretch your hands on people you can't control. For example, his sister. You talk very old-fashioned. Carmelite was talking to himself, and the two seemed to be on different channels, but that's okay, you who surprised me must have some secrets. In this way, I can also sell higher chips. After she figured it out, she quickly smiled and said, Boy, Pandora is not everything to me. Do you still remember the magic trick I did for you? Talking. The Carmelites spread out their hands, and a little bit of light spread out, blending into the flowers and trees. Ace's starry eyes shone slightly. It seems that there is no way to talk about it, so there is no other way. Whoa, none. There are baby sounds. The surrounding vegetation grew human faces and turned into elves, and the anthropomorphic trees also stretched out vines to poke Asa. Meanwhile, the Carmelites themselves were not idle. As soon as the dagger is drawn, the cold light will appear. It should have occurred to me a long time ago that Charlotte Linlin is such a monster. How could her brother be an ordinary person? Single quote. Totally impossible. The Carmelites put away their underestimation completely. Now, take a few stabs and test the waters. The stronger the strength, the higher the value. Wow. Carmelite clenched his dagger and stepped forward. But in the next moment, she found clusters of purple black-gray mist emerging from Asa as the center, attached to the ground, and spread dozens of meters away in a blink of an eye. Zzz. Extremely strong suction, accompanied by violent corrosive bursts. The Carmelite who stepped on the purple mist was like stepping on a swamp, and instantly sank, not to mention, it was still burning. Keep smoking. Carmelite felt the pain in his legs and was about to yell out subconsciously. Ziwu manifested her hands, covering her lips tightly at the right time. In the end, her eyes were full of disbelief. Only struggling movements remained. Don't you know, why would I be expelled from my hometown with Linlin? Asa was dragged by the purple mist, and came to the nun. Her right hand turned into a claw, and the opening in her palm turned into a beast's mouth. The newborn fangs are extremely sharp. Let the Carmelites feel unprecedented fear. Because they saw another side of me. Asa smiled wickedly. Gluttonous. It is the head of the 4 fierce beasts. This is a version. Legend has it that the Yellow Emperor fought Caillou. Caillou was beheaded, and his head fell to the ground and turned into Teoti. In other versions, there are the sons of the Jinyan clan, and what about the dragon giving birth to 9 sons? But without exception, they all have the ability of gluttony, and Asa feels it most directly, and he also divides abilities into 3 categories. 1. It is wrought fog. Condensed from the evil spirit, assisting Haki, not only has the power to incinerate steel, but also has a strong devouring attraction. In the future, if Ghost Chi can be activated. Like Bullet and Zoro, the power is estimated to be raised to a higher level. Continue. The basic dark fruit features are similar, except that it cannot invalidate the target character's abilities. It can do it, so can Asa. It can even release pure energy waves. After all, it can be eaten and vomited. In addition to the above, there is a bit of idealism. As long as Asa is more greedy, the intensity of this fog will be higher. Similar to Luffy from Immune to Death, relying on faith, amidst laughter, he can get up again and again. About spiritual will. 2nd. Zones human and animal transformation. The most significant increase in physical fitness. This is the basic exercise, recovery power, defense power, etc., are at the top of the phantom beast species. But Asa is too young now, her physical strength can't keep up, and she hasn't been fully released. The reason is very simple, her body is too big. Turning it on rashly will consume a lot of money, and it is difficult to control it. And will be very hungry. At this stage, it is not suitable for the 6-year-old him to use, but it can be used as a whole card. And in beast form, in addition to the increase brought by his physique, he can also send out a blade-like storm to cut down everything with pure sound waves alone. Similar to Kaido's bad wind. After all, Gluttonous, also known as Roaoul Paoxiao, the name is not random. This is an ability that has been tapped. The 3rd, it is the highlight, Whale Swallow. Combining Munch Munch Fruit plus Munch Munch Fruit. The reason why I say that, because of his abdomen, the Dantian. It is no exaggeration to say that it is a super large space, a small world. So it can swallow everything. So that the body shape remains unchanged. Bug. The more bug ones are in the back. Whatever is eaten and digested, the energy is absorbed to the maximum extent. He has tried all kinds of wild animals, dead and alive. In addition to filling his stomach, he can also make Asa stronger to the greatest extent. Memory, taijutsu, haki, etc. Dead ones, not very efficient, can only suck part. But the living ones can basically absorb everything. His armed color comes from a ferocious beast that has been killed for a long time and has learned hockey by itself. Yes, no need to practice, just eat. The same goes for people. But, so far, he only devoured corpses. Read this. Asa set her sights on the nun who was struggling less and less. This one is alive. At the same time, not far away, there was a short, fat, middle-aged man with a beak-like nose who was sleeping on a tree trunk. He stretched himself, as if he had just woken up. It's not bad for a day like this. He drew out his long knife and scratched at the branches beside him. Immediately afterwards, a miraculous scene happened. The cut branches turned into chocolate bars and fell into his palm. Crack, just biting off half of it, he leaned against the trunk of the tree, pushed aside the leaves, his pupils suddenly shrunk. He saw an unforgettable scene in this life. Ah, Asa. Son, stop it, it was just a joke. How could I hurt you? Far below, Carmelite was getting more and more suffocated, and his old body was shaking crazily. Don't make the same mistake again and again. And if I die, Linlin will be sad. Around the moment, her temporary anthropomorphic plants were shattered and disappeared under the corrosion of strong acid. Our Lady, you're right. Before the nun was happy, Asa's next words made her feel desperate, but Linlin and I are relatives, family members who are related by blood. She's more worried about me than you. In the past 6 years, the relationship between the brothers and sisters is comparable to that of outsiders who have been together for a year. Moreover, long-term pain is not as good as short-term pain. Carmelite understood this, and his wrinkled old face immediately began to twist. Brother and sister, almost inseparable. Friendship is indeed unshakable. No, obviously I'm about to wash my hands. Yes, I can break the contract with the world government and send you free. Before the nun finished speaking, she was completely swallowed and entered the endless wave of darkness. Eliminate, break down, thus turning into pure energy particles and being absorbed. Asa frowned slightly. Physical support, not much to offer. Maybe it's because of old age. After that is the soul factor. The nun's soul may be strengthened by the fruit and she is still stubbornly resisting. Constantly struggling in the body. No wonder. Asa intensified. Linlin swallows your words, and is not affected by your soul. It's strange. But, what do gluttons eat? No matter how hard the struggle is, it will be crushed into fine powder, dissolved and absorbed in less than 3 or 2 strokes. Very surprised. On a spiritual level, on the contrary, the increase for Asa is not small, a full 30%, and the specific feedback is the improvement of the 5 senses and knowledge. Besides, the nun's pure memory also followed. Life experience, facial expression management experience, child abduction skills, talent, Holy Mother and fruit development. After the series were integrated, it turned into a book in the small world and floated on the bookshelf. Want it? Asa can take it out to read at any time. Fusion and elimination are only in one thought, so that it will not increase the burden of memory. Otherwise, the more you absorb, the more confused your mind will be. Can't tell the self apart. After all, not everyone has eaten the Vegapunk brain fruit. However, Rao is like this. The power of Teodi still shocked Asa. The potential was too strong. He even suspected that what he ate was not a simple fruit at all, but a strange thing that fused with the true gluttonous blood. Speak up. If I spit out the nun's memory and instill it into someone else's mind, will the nun be revived in disguise? Or create another personality? What if splitting out experience and skills and instilling them in other people's minds is the same as enlightenment? It is theoretically possible to operate. But in fact, if the other party's mental strength is not high, if you do this rashly, you will have a rejection reaction and make a fool. Unlike Asa, who is so pervert, she can swallow whatever she wants. This, let go first. Single quote. There are more important. Asa sensed soul fruit and was trapped in his body, that is, in the small world. Bumping and bumping, trying to find an exit. But because of Teodi's strength, he tried his best to pull him up and down, but he couldn't escape. If you let it go, what will happen? Can you escape? Or a temporary fusion? Try again later. Asa focused her mind on the outside world. Left palm. Opened his piercing grin. spit out a pineapple-shaped fruit, and pressed it with his right hand. Strange fluctuations poured in. Call. After a while, the fruit changed, with more spiral stripes. A pink exotic fruit in the shape of a skirt. It's done. Asa's eyes overflowed with brilliance. Soul fruit. Soul fruit is not weak. Even though he killed Pandora so easily just now, it was because the little son underestimated himself at the beginning. Not all heat is released. In addition, the nun's own soul strength is limited, resulting in a low display of strength. Otherwise, change someone. Asa might not be so easy to deal with. Gululu. His belly made a sound, and the devil fruit was decomposed, which consumed a lot of energy, so he was hungry very quickly. Terrible. That brat, is he an ability user or a monster? On a distant tree, Longbread stood up abruptly. Seeing all of this, he covered his mouth with one hand, a little unbelievable. That was born, devil fruit. How did you do it? Sudden, Asa, who was in his line of sight, turned his gaze to this side. The Longbread instantly has a creepy feeling of needle pricks. Hello, can you find it this far? He took a step back. Immediately, he turned around flexibly and jumped out of the bushes decisively. Yes, years of pirate experience told him that it is better not to deal with such a person. Only, as soon as it landed, the thick purple mist surged at an even faster speed like a wave. Stop chasing. I didn't see anything just now. Long Bun's head was getting bigger, but he was still chasing after him. His small body jumped up suddenly. Turn around, hold the knife, and slam it down. Hoo-hoo. A knife wave more than 10 meters long. Rip it out. But what is astonishing is that Zichao only paused for a moment before absorbing it completely. Keep spreading. It can even absorb flying slash. Longbread didn't even have the will to fight anymore. He stepped on a branch, charged up and ejected again. Hello. A suspicious child's voice sounded suddenly. Wang Zulin. What? Long Bun turned his head, and his speed slowed down slightly. It was also this moment that caused a burst of force from above his head. Asa catches up too, palming the animal's claws, the speed and power soared, and directly buckled its head. Throw it down again. Call out. That's all. Longbread shot down uncontrollably, and fell into the purple mist without even a wave. Yes, if you are careless, you will get a box lunch. Feel sorry. I thought he had time traveled too, you two look so much alike. Asa floated down with a slightly apologetic tone. Longbread, the future chief chef of IWC. If the original trajectory is followed, he will take Linlin who is alone, form a family, and walk on the road of crime. Precisely. It is to use Linlin's power to realize one's own desires, such as money, rights, etc. And Linlin in the later stage. More than half of the reason why his temper developed from innocence to that is due to this Longbread. Of course, not now. Don't, or you going to eat me. I don't eat well. Also, I'm a cook. Can make more exquisite food, cook food you have never eaten before. After being inhaled, after the initial panic, the Longbread felt the disappearance of the body, and the desire to survive instantly came up. Crazy reveals its own value. No, he doesn't want to die yet. What else can you do? Asa. I will also play beautiful songs. You, as long as you like to hear. Oh, very good. That's all mine now. Before Longbread could be happy in the future, Asa choked on the second half of his sentence. What's the meaning? Before thinking too much, Longbread lost consciousness, his soul was torn apart and dissipated. Culinary profession *1. Leadership and guidance *1. Music talent *1. Jonao level swordsmanship *1. Two-color hockey junior 1. Eat fruit *1. Fruit development experience 1. Personal memory *1. The above are the things absorbed after devouring. Hockey swordsmanship and cooking skills are very useful. The ones that are not needed for the time being are placed in the small world bookshelf again. That's right, I made a lot of money. Asa is absorbed one by one. Moment. From a novice who doesn't know how to use swords, he has become a swordsman level master. After the generosity of the nun, Longbread is also a good guy, especially, solved one of his most troubled problems. Eat fruit. Everything in the world can be turned into ingredients. Although, Asa has a gluttonous body, and in a difficult environment, she can eat anything, even stones and dirt. can be converted into energy. But how to put it, the efficiency is too low, and it is tasteless. But eating fruit is different. Looking through the memory of the long bread, the food transformed by this ability is also tasteless. Well, but it is no taste that maintains the original flavor. Simply put, no seasoning. Very weak. But it is a real ingredient that can fill anyone's stomach, and the most important thing is that it can easily satisfy Linlin, a big foodie. Ah, belly whirled. Asa controlled her body and compressed the fruit and machete into one space. After a few minutes, Belly whirled outside. He let out a long breath, and between flipping his hands, a scimitar covered with special stripes appeared. It's done. Swallow the knife that eats fruit, my first treasure, gourmet blade. Before crossing, as a fan of pirates, Asa imagined that dead things can eat zone fruits, so there is no reason why other types can't. Now, he personally tested it successfully. Thoughts retracted. Asa holding the knife. Can't wait to draw a hole in the ground, and with the stroke, gourmet blade absorbs his physical strength. Bew. At the same time, the hole in the ground turned into a torn cream cake. It still smells good. Those brats, you should wait. He picked up a piece to try and found that the cake itself was still sweet. But not much, how to say it, naturally sweet. There may be rock sugar and brown sugar added in it, not hex technology, the kind of ultimate that puts a little saccharin and it smells delicious. Still all natural. He chose to fill his stomach first, as for the children of the House of Lamb. Hold on. Asa is always quick, it won't take long. The other side. From noon to evening, time passed by every minute and every second, and the children of Lamb's house were almost dozing off. Certainly, compared to dozing off, there is more anxiety in their hearts. Nun and Asa, neither came back. Could something be wrong, or should we go find it? No, brother Asa said, don't let me. The food is also finished. They chatted. Charlotte Linlin clutched her growling stomach, thumped, and sat down on the grass. Worry hung on his red face. Linlin is hungry. Elder brother. Don't leave Linlin alone. Whenever Asa was out of sight for a little longer, Linlin would feel restless and helpless. Even if you have friends by your side. In her heart, her brother will always come first. Awaited. Sunset. A figure walked out of the forest in front of him under the sunlight. He's overwhelmed. I underestimated my appetite. The small half of the forest was completely swallowed up. Of course, you can eat as much as you want, and you can release your knowledge at any time, watching them. It's pretty obedient, and they didn't run around. Hear this voice, see this person. Everyone's eyes widened. Linlin reacted the most violently, jumped up, and happily rushed towards Asa. The rest of the people also breathed a sigh of relief, but they didn't see the nun appearing for a long time, and their hearts were suspended again. Brother Asa, where's the nun? Could it be that something really happened? Fill your stomach first. I'll tell you about the nun again. Asa took out the knife and cut off the wooden stakes, stones, and bark at will. Between golden lights, Linlin, who came running, and everyone were amazed by what happened. Wood turned into pieces of beef. Stones turned into chicken cakes. Bark, which turns into fruit. With the more skillful dancing, wherever the long knife passes, the cakes bloom like flowers. There are all kinds of them. ? The children of the Lamb's house were dumbfounded, rubbing their eyes and suspecting that they were wrong. Wow, awesome. Linlin's eyes sparkled even more. Brother, have you learned how to do magic tricks? It's sort of. Asa, although the rest of the people were puzzled, they were children after all, they didn't have that much thoughtfulness, and soon they couldn't stand the hunger, so they let go of their appetites to eat. After eating and drinking, it was already dark. Asa also told a white lie to the House of the Lamb. The nun couldn't come back, and before leaving, taught herself magic. He can't say it directly. Did he eat the nun? That's too dark. Nun, are you leaving? Will not. It was hard for everyone to accept it for a while. The usual troublemakers also burst into tears. I don't know. Almost. The nuns sold them collectively. Whether it is as a slave coolie, or what to do. Nuns don't have much sympathy. Tomorrow I will go to see. From now on, if you want to follow, find a suitable family, and I will send you down. Asa was too lazy to argue with other kids. Linlin is also okay. maybe because of his own intervention. The sadness is the sadness, but it is not too intense. Going to sea tomorrow. Why, us. I will follow Brother Asa. Although I don't understand. But the children of the Lamb's house, usually due to various reasons, have long vaguely regarded Asa as the boss. After recovering now, there is only this choice. Late at night, everyone fell asleep. Asa was sitting on the steps, leaning against the wooden post, planning for the future. Elder brother. Suddenly, behind him came the faint bass of a mosquito. Then the pink light flashed past, sitting beside Asa. Hands leaned together helplessly. What's wrong? Linlin can't sleep. Want to hug my brother to sleep. Someday it's not a hug. Asa shakes her head. Speaking of this, it is also because the physique has been strengthened wave after wave, otherwise, Linlin sleeps and hugs someone else. Get up in the morning. It is estimated that the bones and tendons are broken, and only the corpse is left. After all, killing a giant bear with one punch, severely injured the giant child, fell to the death of the giant elder. These are not words. In fact, it's a pity to think about it. It is said that Big Mom is called the weakest 4 emperors. Asa felt that she was the scariest one. In terms of talent, almost without much practice, he has reached the level of 4 emperors. If you don't have cravings anymore, don't have children in batches, keep your figure out of shape, and get rid of a series of bad habits. At a high starting point, high effort, future achievement, it is bound to reach a point of astonishment. If Asa had no capital, she could rely on her younger sister for a soft meal. And now, single quote, in my mold, talent will not be wasted, and mistakes will not happen again. Single quote. Asa's mind raced. That's right, little sister. Do you have any wish? Well, I hope the world will be peaceful, and there will be no more abandoned children. Ling put her hands on her sides, her eyes revealing innocence, or establish a country where all people and all races can coexist peacefully together. Quote. This is also the wish of the nun. She thought of Lamb's house, because of the experience, so the empathy is very strong. Not bad. Asa spread her hands. A pink fruit appeared in the palm, and under the moonlight, it seemed to be covered with a hazy veil. With a different kind of holiness. Then become stronger first. Only the strongest can achieve everything they want to achieve. A wild look crossed his eyes. Sometimes, fit is the best. Soul fruit. The reason why I chose the original one is also because Homits is there, and it can solve many problems. Confirm some conjectures. At the same time, with the development memory of the nun, Asa can better guide Linlin and avoid detours. What a strange fruit, it must be delicious. Don't chew, just swallow. Linlin didn't suspect anything. He took whatever his elder brother gave him with confidence, and after swallowing, not long after, she found herself. It will be magic. The next day, when the marine arrived, Asa accepted their sailing tools with a smile. You don't even need to steer the boat. Homits blends into the back of the boat and can move on its own. Speaking of today, it was also the day when he and his younger sister officially set sail. Third day, the ship marking the world government arrived in a hurry and began to search, and found that the whereabouts of Marine and the warship were all missing. Then saw the forest missing a large piece. The mood became more dignified. That fellow nun, is he still alive? What did they do? Obviously a colonel from the headquarters was sent. He also disappeared. There is no trace of it. The faces of the 3 white-clothed CP0s under the mask became ugly. Who messed up the game? Charlotte Asa, Charlotte Linlin. Did the 2 kids do it? In this era that is about to run amok, it undoubtedly adds a touch of unique color. It will also have an immeasurable impact on the future. Spring goes and winter comes, time passes and changes. In the blink of an eye. I don't know how many years have passed. New World, Toto Land Sea Area. Here stands a desert kingdom. Just looking at the appearance of the island, it is very glamorous. It is also full of people coming and going. I heard that several more pirate ships were sunk by the kingdom's fleet. It's a pirate after all, nothing to feel sorry for. But that's the Charlotte brothers and sisters, their fleet. Looting their riches doesn't end well. Is that against the evil gods? I think it's the hungry god, ha ha ha. How can our desert kingdom be provoked by 2 mere pirates? HMPH, how many are there? Desert fleet, but they are invincible. Quote. Looking at the worried people, a pair of kingdom guards came in front of them, their expressions extremely arrogant. It's all basic exercises. Is there anything wrong with sinking passing pirate ships and looting pirate wealth in your spare time? You can also prepare for the battle. Yes, relying on the fact that there are people behind him, the king of desert has been fighting all year round, annexing weak and small countries, and frantically harvesting the territories of surrounding islands. Of course, the territory is expanded. The number of people also increased. But problems also followed, such as food crisis, financial constraints, high taxes, etc., which made the people even more breathless. The contradictions that lead to a backlog continue to increase. It is also thanks to repeated battles and repeated victories. But if you lose a game, people's hearts may be unstable. Talking about politics, belittling the country. I think you guys have ulterior motives and want to incite treason. Arrest them all. Among the arrogant soldiers, the captain of the guard shouted angrily. Scared the innocent passers-by to tears. It's really wrong. But next second, what made them even more horrifying happened. I saw a big ship suddenly flying from high above. Traveling in a parabola, so fast, it's just a blink of an eye. Then it covered the sky and covered the sunset and reached the sky above the guards, and immediately after, hundreds of tons of weight smashed down hard. Boom. The crashing sound was accompanied by huge wind and waves. Looking at the bottom, captain of the guard, together with dozens of extremely arrogant elite soldiers, they were smashed to pieces. Can't even see the crumbs. Boat, why did it fall from the sky? Where's the ship stationed outside the island? Is there no alarm? Wait, is that black smoke? Crushed. Hey, don't you see this ship? It's Charlotte. Quote. A large number of people fled away, looking at this big ship from a distance, not daring to get close to it. Call out. Suddenly, a powder shadow shot out from the bow of the ship. When it lands, the huge impact force shattered the ground dozens of meters away. Elder brother, here we are. This woman, from bottom to top, wearing shiny women's boots, pink tights, and a charming black belt. Loose white top, pink cape, heart earrings, with wavy and long hair, youthful and energetic all over his body, that smile. Coupled with, enough to make any man crazy delicate face. The hearts of the residents of the desert kingdom slowed down by half a beat. Well, even with a height of 7.7 meters, looking at it from a distance, it is still the golden ratio. It's that look again. She put her left hand on her hip. Holding a giant long blade in his right hand, he stuck it into the ground. They should be afraid. On her shoulders, sitting a 3-meter-long man in a black robe, his hands folded around his chest, his face was also very cracked. Especially those deep eyes. It seems that people will fall into it just by looking at it. Women, whether married or unmarried, almost all eyes are on him, and some men are even mixed. After a while, someone exclaimed, etc. They are Charlotte brothers and sisters. As soon as this remark came out, the scene was instantly quiet, and then panic broke out. No one thought that revenge would come so soon. A second ago, they are still talking about destroying their fleet, and in the next second, they will come directly to their door. And look at the smoke in the distance. And with violent destruction of the warship. It's messed up, it's going to be messed up. At this very moment, most of the people felt the invisible oppression and began to retreat subconsciously. Unlike before, they dared to look directly at the two of them. That's right, another group of people. Then he quickly took out 2 reward lists, compared them, and soon got the coincidence. Not like, yes, the real brothers and sisters are more amazing than the portraits. Whether it is temperament or other aspects. Yes, they are the pirate supernovas who have become famous in recent years. Charlotte Asa, Linlin. See Circle Calendar 1470. Nearly 10 years have passed since the time of going to sea in 1459. In the intervening years, both of them have made great progress. Now 16 years old. How terrifying it really is, I'm afraid, only they themselves know. But, how can the Kingdom warship be so vulnerable? I don't believe it. They must have brought a lot of people. Are you blind? You didn't see any other affiliated pirate ships at all. You want to say, single-handedly. No, how dare you? Quote. If In the past, the residents didn't know much about the gold content of the reward, but now they are looking at the dazzling row of zeros. Only the scalp is numb. Charlotte Asa. Bounty. 660 million berry. Doubtful munch fruit ability person. Frequent hunting ability person. Force value is unknown, or think tank type, but the threat level is extremely high. Charlotte Linlin. Bounty. 600 million berry. People with soul fruit abilities, natural monsters, and giants all call it the existence of evil gods. Extremely dangerous. Inseparable from Charlotte Asa. Get out of here. We don't kill civilians, but those who are still in sight for a minute. I think I'm unlucky, Charlotte Linlin yelled, clear and sweet, but also really domineering, scaring a lot of people away. Little sister, be gentle. Asa jumped down, scanned around, and found that the knowledge was so interesting, a large number of troops had already arrived. Aha, I'll be more ladylike next time. Linlin softened in front of Asa. Yes, girls from other families are rebellious at the age of 16, but Charlotte's family doesn't seem to have this problem. Although occasionally have a small temper. But no matter at what time, no matter how cold war is, reconciliation can be achieved within 10 minutes, Linlin still takes the initiative to admit his mistakes and apologize. As for being fierce to the outside world, that's because of necessity, which can save a lot of trouble. To my elder brother, it was the original face. You are pirates. The knights are coming soon. The Knights of the Golden Cross and the Paladin Sama are both powerful. Together, we will behead a billion-dollar pirate. There are only 2 of you here. It will not be an opponent of this country. After the crowd dispersed, there was a slug kid beside the trash can. Ragged and weakened, he looked like a beggar. But the eyes are very clear. Yeah, Asa was attracted to him, approached him, and touched his head, which didn't feel dirty. The slug closed its eyes, thinking it would die, but opened them again when it realized it was all right. He felt that Asa was different from other pirates. And what I just said is the truth, and it is also the opinion of other citizens. It's right there. Walk around. Kill the intruders. There was a sound of horseshoes and shouts of killing, and there were pairs of capable soldiers at every intersection in the street. But as they approached, thick fog also gushed out from under Asa's feet. Dozens of hundreds of people were trapped in it, and disappeared before they could scream. Hoo-hoo, the fog is still spreading. All the people, horses and weapons they touch are all sunken, digested and absorbed, and thus become the nourishment of Asa. The slug kid who looked at this was stunned for a while. Then wait and see, you said Paladin. After all, the people who can take care of my subordinates must be pretty strong. Asa cleared away the thick fog again, and the scene became much more spacious. Since 10 years, he is silently accumulating strength, during which time the partners of the Lamb's house have left a lot, but they also left a part of the essence. Become the backbone and distribute to all walks of life. Or become a business elite, or enter the underground world, playing with arms, lending usury, engaging in shipping, whole warehousing, funeral. Even newspapers and so on. They are all members of Charlotte, funded by Asa. Aiming at the giants of the dark world, develop and advance. Of course, in order to deceive others, he was acting alone on the surface. Not affiliated with Charlotte. Besides, it also developed its own pirate group, but there are not many, and it is arranged casually, and it doesn't feel bad to be destroyed now. The real core combat power. It's still just him and the younger sister, let's talk about it again. Now that the only fleet has been destroyed, the power is weak and the power is weak. This account cannot be counted. Exactly. Little sister, today is your birthday. Building all nations is your dream again. Just laugh, Asa. The black robe rose automatically without wind. Then we will be in the Toto Land Sea area. Let's build a country on this land, and also serve as our long-term base in the future. Have foundation. In order to support doing more things, a country helps support itself, and a person is busy running around. The two are not the same. The reason why. It was too late to establish a country before, even now, but someone insisted on kicking. It's not impossible to hurry up. Anyway, funds, prestige, strength are initially established, and it is okay to occupy a piece of land first. I listen to you, brother. Charlotte Linlin said this, but she has been looking forward to it for a long time, and now she is happy in her heart. The corners of the mouth also grinned involuntarily. Be the queen. Fun to think about. There is Pi, elder brother. We both have the same day. Today is also your birthday. Linlin didn't prepare a gift either. I will give you the king's treasury. She rolled her beautiful eyes, half joking, and slightly pursed her red lips. He pecked Asa on the cheek. How old are you, still making trouble like this? Asa's tone was helpless. Just as she was about to reach out her hand to block it, her eyes moved slightly. Also at this time, Linlin also paused, with a hint of impatience overflowing on his flushed face. He shook his head and looked to the other side. Uninvited offender. 2 streaks of golden light came from afar. Both of them were holding a big golden hammer, covered with powerful armed colors, and smashed towards this side fiercely. Even if you see a child here. Still, no matter what, the strike was extremely ruthless, except the sanction of the Golden Cross Knight. Zeus. Mom here. A dark cloud emerged and quickly wrapped around Linlin's right hand. Immediately, Linlin threw it with one hand, and a huge amount of purple electricity exploded from the dark cloud, blasting forward with lightning speed. Way drum. Ziz. Boom. This random hit. The thick lightning flashed across the two of them, and they persisted for less than 3 seconds before their defense collapsed. After the light fades. Bang. Accompanied by the bang of the golden hammer, a private house was smashed down, and there was no more sound. So annoying. Linlin recycling hands, very dissatisfied that the other party disturbed me. The previous communication with my brother. That's right, brat. She suddenly, looking at the ant-like child in front of him. Those 2 people just said what they are. He, them. It's the Knight of the Golden Cross. There are 3. Below the paladins, the 2 strongest Golden Cross Knights. The child is a child after all. Seeing this, his teeth began to chatter, and his legs began to feel weak. He couldn't think of anything. The Golden Knight, who was invincible in the past, was deflated just like that. No, he might not even be able to get up. What I thought at the beginning was wrong. Yeah. Real water. Linlin brushed his curly hair back and frowned slightly. Could it be that the so-called defeat of 1 billion big pirates actually depends on another paladin? It's you who have become stronger again. Asa was also a little surprised. In terms of the development of Soul Fruit, all he can provide is some brainstorming directions and supervision. The rest is up to her. Talent plus hard work. The superimposed speed of progress is far beyond the reach of ordinary people. Like these 2, the strength of 1 person 3 berry is still there, and the gold content is not low in the present without inflation. Equivalent to about 600 million later generations. No matter what, the Grandmaster 2-color hockey, combined in all aspects of physical skills, is at least above the rear admiral in the headquarters. But it was dropped by Linlin in seconds. And Linlin's strength. It is expected to surpass the regular vice admiral, reach the strength of admiral's substitute, and even meet the real headquarter admiral. Of course, it's hard to judge since I haven't played it. As for Asa herself, strength is naturally not negligent. This point, Linlin himself knows best. Brother's real strength is not inferior to her at all. Scarier than outsiders imagined. It's just that he doesn't show much at ordinary times, and in the eyes of others, he becomes a general existence like a military advisor and a support. Let's talk about height first. Full of confusion, the surface is more than 2 meters, but in fact this is a compressed form. The real body of the old man is much taller than her. This, thanks to the complete control of the fruit ability. Yes, Eudemons' gluttony can be controlled to a high degree. To a certain extent, it can be large or small. It all depends on the mood. Degree of fruit development. I'm afraid it's only a few steps away from awakening. Unlike myself, it's still a lot worse. Gymnastics. It's not inferior to myself, but it's just that it doesn't show its mountains and dews at ordinary times. Linlin never pushed the limit. Among others, the Conqueror's hockey is also unlocked. Complete in 3 colors. Same as myself. What is really terrifying is the swordsmanship, which has reached the level of a great swordsman a few years ago. Now you don't even need a knife, you can hurt someone from a distance. Linlin didn't know how to do it either. Anyway, it did. I don't know if it is related to the fruit ability. Good knife work, only by making better food. Asa smiled as if she had read Linlin's mind. Wow, sudden. From the collapsed house ahead, there was a violent cough and the sound of turning over boulders. Ahem, pirate. Glory is a kingdom. As a cross golden knight. A warrior who defends everything. We don't fall so easily. The smoke gradually dissipated. In addition to the two who got up, there was another tall figure among them. 010, the cooking of ingredients does not have to be done with a knife. With a cream pie on his head, a spear in his hand, and a golden helmet, his arrogance is at its peak. He is the third golden knight. It is also the strongest of the three. Boss. As for the other two, the golden knight who was shocked by Drum is actually in a very bad state. What he said just now is a bit the hardest. Pirates. It can hurt the two of them, I admit, you are indeed capable. But that's only careless. The knight boss held a spear with one hand and aimed at Linlin from a distance. I am best at melee combat, how about it? You, who claim to be stronger than giants at the age of 5. Do you dare to compare? Clearly, he was aggressive. But who is Charlotte Linlin? What he is best at is fighting in pure strength. After being so excited, he froze slightly. It should be. Ah, Ling held the giant blade with disdain on her face. I would like to see what tricks you have. Asa, little sister, old lady, this self-proclaimed, from whom to learn. It's fine. Linlin obviously misunderstood, and grinned. I won't embarrass you, brother. After all, she jumped out. It looks like it's going to be 1 against 3. There is a lot of momentum. The opposite side also jumped up. But when the two sides were about to collide, the tip of the spear of the Golden Knight boss made waves. Like the surface of water, spread out a giant mirror. Call out. Linlin pierced it with a knife. It was found that the blade had sunk into it. The interior is empty, as if there is a different dimension. When she tried to pull it back again, a stronger force struck from inside. At the same time, because it is in the air, caught off guard, Linlin had nowhere to draw his strength, and he already had the inertia to move forward, so he was thrown in at once. Border world, dressed in white, a sturdy man over 4 meters tall, his hands turned into sticky cakes, wrapped around a giant blade, and threw it back with all his strength. Usually, with his strength, he can even drag battleships. But at this time, it feels like trashing something heavier than a ship. So Shin still succeeded. Here, where is it? Linlin, who had just entered, slowed down and looked at the mirror-filled, shining space and corridor. Be puzzled and curious. She has been recruited, and in future battles, she still has to pay attention to her strange abilities. No need to know. Below, the sticky man twisted his neck. You just need to know that Charlotte Asa, your brother who is protecting you outside, is going to die soon. Let's talk. He originally thought that the other party would get angry. But strange thing, the other party just blinked his eyes, as if he didn't care. It seems, the brother-sister friendship between you is not as strong as imagined. Ha 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 ha. Successful, Master Paladin, I will treat your sister well. There are also the elite ambushing inside, and they have already laid a net, let alone deal with the 600 million bounty criminals. No matter how high it is, I can win it with confidence. Before that, the 3 of us will send you on your way first. The knight boss retracted his spear and fell, while the 2 seriously injured golden knights, one on the left and one on the right, stood in front of him. Ready. Mirror mirror fruit is a good thing. See Linlin disappear. Asa was only surprised, but didn't show much expression, which made the 3 of them frown. Outside rumors, Asa's bounty of more than 600 million is inflated, so they have nothing to fear. Where does this guy have the confidence to be so calm? All right, give way. Asa glanced at the giant castle in the distance, still with one hand in his pocket, ignoring the 3 knights, and walked forward alone. Let me take off the head of the Desert King first, and then I will fight with you. Snort. Posting. I don't even have a weapon ready. I don't believe it. What kind of waves can you make? The knight elder brother jumped into the air, pointed the golden spear directly at Asa, and took the lead. Use moonwalk to maneuver, be careful of his black mist, don't worry about the others. No problem. Hearing the words, the other 2 people took the secret medicine that stimulated their potential, their skin was blood red, and they were ready to cooperate. But there is no time to take a step in the future. Then paused. See, Asa used his vacated right hand, with the index finger and middle finger together, forming a sword finger, and swung at will in the air. It's like chasing flies away. Zisho. A sharp scream. Golden Knight boss. The golden spear shining under the sun has a white line from the tip to the tail. Further on, the space ripples slightly. The 3-meter-high night boss maintained a forward stabbing posture. From his head to his chest, and then to his lower body, there were strange lines of blood emerging. Immediately afterwards, poof, a whole bunch of blood burst out. The whole person, including the weapon, was split into 2 halves and fell from mid-air. Before landing, his gaze is still going forward, courageous, and brave. In other words, there was no reaction at all. True one-hit kill. Clatter. Footsteps, accompanied by a light voice, sounded in his ear. Cooking ingredients. Sometimes you don't have to use a knife. Also, you don't even turn on the armed color. How much you underestimate me. Chapter 11. He is also low-key. Otherwise, this guy is not so easy to kill. Isn't there an old saying? High-end hunters often appear as prey. That's right. Can save trouble, why not save trouble? So Asa has always liked to kill all outsiders who are aware of her details and abilities. Wait until the next time you meet new ingredients. Well, continue to be caught off guard. Like now, it's just that this guy is too confident. It's not weak, but it's easy to kill. As for this ability, it is not an exaggeration to say that it is an exaggeration. The principle is very simple. These years, the type that Asa devours the most is sword hero. As the number becomes stronger, he combined the sword skills of different people, pushing his own sword skills to the level of a great swordsman, and even a mutation. Then integrate the abilities of Teodi itself. About the wind blade. At the same time, he is in the research of ingredients and the integration of knife skills. From this, Asa comprehends another ability, that is, special slash. Untie. 8 Ba. The former used just now is a regular slash, which is unexpected, but has a chance of being blocked. In the case of the latter, it can be understood as a decisive slash that is adjusted depending on the strength of the target. Silently, quickly and quickly. Until now, it has never failed. At the same time, this ability. It is also based on the anime Curse Return, a ceiling character with 2 faces. Certainly, in addition to Xie and 8, there is also a higher level of power, that is, the full range, indiscriminate slash. Similar to the power of field expansion, Asa, as a big trump card, is still being perfected. It is specially used to deal with difficult to cook and tricky ingredients, which is very suitable. In short, Asa is very caring when it comes to food, and she loves it more and more. The stronger the food, the more delicious it tastes. Call. A black vortex rolled out from the ground, absorbing the corpse while it was still hot. Asa was not in a hurry to disperse and digest. Instead, he first set his sights on the 2 knights in front of him. I've given you time, don't you want to do it? Why don't you come? You. The 2 knights reacted, sweating profusely, unable to accept this fact. What about the big fight? The picture just now. In the eyes of onlookers, especially in the eyes of companions who get along day and night and know the strength of Big Brother. The impact is very big. With just 1 finger, the metal spear was cut open. And the fight. Anyway, no matter what the reason or ability, nothing can change the fact that the eldest brother died. Hidden strength. The 2 finally held back for a long time, and said a non-aggressive sentence. Charlotte. Asa, you are so despicable. Asa nodded in response, and continued to approach. On the other side, originally thought that they would continue to protect the glory for the country, but when the expressions of the 2 changed for a while, they did something unexpected. Boom, boom. Environment world. There are distorted black and white squares everywhere, covered with countless mirrors. It used to be very stable. But now, for unknown reasons, the entire area is shaking, and a large number of elite fighters are thrown into the air, causing even stronger fluctuations. Clang. Wow. Run. Run. Bullets and shells, don't they even have any effect? Master Paladin. We still have Lord Paladin. Quote. There was chaos one after another. Originally, it was barely possible to maintain the formation. But when they saw that the extremely powerful paladins flew upside down like a kite with a broken string, after their bodies smashed several mirrors. All the souls of the dead are dying, and the formation is disordered. The paladin who was lying down had his jaws broken at this moment, and his hands were so numb that he couldn't lift it up. This guy is simply a monster in a girl's skin. Already, far more than the bounty offered by myself. Why did Marine make it? Are they all idiots? No, you can't go head to head. Now, it should be almost resolved outside. He thought for a while, coughed up blood, and suddenly burst out laughing. Charlotte Linlin, this night won't play with you anymore. You can stay inside forever. When you are about to starve to death inside, you will throw your brother's body in. He seems to have a special hobby. When the time comes, I'll be outside to see you who are hungry to ultimate. Will you swallow your brother alive? After these words, Linlin, who was in such a precarious situation and didn't change his expression much, immediately changed his expression. Obviously, Linlin was touched. Court death. She, who was 100 meters away, covered the sword with lightning, jumped into the air, somersaulted forward, and then slashed downward like lightning. A sudden attack. Faced with this power and influence, the paladin's face changed drastically, beyond expectations. He could feel the blow full of anger. Once he was hit. Must die. Of course, panic is panic, and the confidence to say those words is still there. Clang clang clang. Crisp sounded. The paladin tapped on a mirror engraved with a mark continuously. Quickly open it, let me out. It's been knocking for a few seconds before. It stands to reason that the Golden Knight over there will open it no matter how busy it is. This is an agreement. One can't handle Charlotte Linlin. Just lock her inside, consume her alive, starve to death. But now, open it up. Hey, the paladin couldn't hold back even more. He knocked with both hands until the mirror almost shattered, but there was still no response. Could it be betrayal? Or something unexpected happened? It doesn't make sense. Whoa, lightning flashed down. The paladin leader quickly built a high wall with sticky cakes, and wrapped it with a huge amount of armed colors. But the moment dissolves again. Don't. The cold air of the paladin rushed straight to the top of the sky, and he said in a panic, this night was just joking. It's. The strong light flooded everything around. Desert castle, high-rise bedroom, moose cake on the top of the head, dressed in a sweet fragrance, the weirdly dressed dessert king is holding a phone bug to talk to the other side. Master Net Poseidon, rest assured, make sure to take care of everything. The entire Toto Land Sea area, and other small countries, will soon be in your pocket. You will be able to protect more and more territories. The tone is flattering. Yes, I'm afraid no one would have thought that the usually majestic king would be so humble to one person behind his back. Most importantly, the object of his submission is the pirate who is hated and severely punished by the whole country. Yes, Net Poseidon, at the same time named Akoku, he is the fastest growing and most popular big pirate in recent years. The bounty exceeds 1.5 billion Baileys. And the behavior of the king. In fact, it's easy to understand. If it weren't for Akoku behind her, she wouldn't be able to stand this piece of Toto Land Sea area alone. Anyone looking at it wants to take a bite. For example, Charlotte brother and sister. It's just that the king didn't expect that these two people didn't care about it at all, they just destroyed the ship under his command, and they came here directly. Pigeon ha 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 ha. Very good. Relax, too. The Charlotte brothers and sisters are a bit capable. But with the 3 golden knights entrusted to you by Lousy, and 1 paladin, there will be no problem. The voice from the phone bug was a little rough. By the way, if you can catch it alive, first. Good. After the two had a thoughtful chat, the call was cut off. The face of Desert Kingdom suddenly became heavy. Akoku, controlled by pirates, become a puppet, a spokesperson. How can you not be humiliated? Not sarcastic. And if he bears the burden of humiliation like this, his final result may not be good. Only, the huge difference in strength makes people desperate, until recent years, with his crazy training. Improve your combat power. Strengthen to half the combat power of the Golden Knight. The mentality is better. Wait until I find a powerful devil fruit. One day, I will. Facing the French windows where the sun was shining, he was about to have a moment of pride when he was interrupted by a loud noise. Crack, crash, the huge floor-to-ceiling window broke, and 2 broken golden helmets fell into it. It was the Golden Cross Knight. They were burning with heat. Panting, eyes tearing apart, very embarrassed. The king took a step back subconsciously, a little dazed. What happened? Where are the 2 pirates? This heat, this state, is obviously drugged. But they're all on drugs, and they still. I can't stop it. My lord, run away. The two briefly explained. So, the king felt ridiculous. You took the secret medicine. You ran here just to let me escape. You still care about this. Even the eldest brother is dead. The Golden Knight stood up, trying to support him. That guy is a devil. Without a weapon, with a wave of his finger, he killed the big brother through the air. This is no longer a category that can be dealt with. If it wasn't for the Captain Akoku's order to act well and say that the king is still useful, they wouldn't even bother to take care of this guy. Space. Is it flying slash? The king fell behind with some information. Did Charlotte Linlin do it? What about the chief paladin? Didn't you trap her in the mirror world? Flying and slashing, can you deal with our elder brother? That guy's is silent. Anyway, don't talk nonsense, run away with us. The two of them originally wanted to stand on the left and the right, but now that they think about it, it would be easier to throw them on the shoulders. The king knows something, but not much. No, you can't just leave like this. Leave me first, come first, talk to him. Facing the sudden situation, the king of deserts began to struggle. My concubines. The other queens that I have snatched, and the gold jewels in the treasury. Confiscated weapons, and a few hidden devil fruits. If you leave like this, don't you make a wedding dress for someone else? As for the people, he didn't care how many those untouchables wanted, called Akoku the same pirate. Idiot. The two Golden Knights cursed in a low voice. People are calling at the door, so they are still afraid of this. Besides, run away first, and then unite with the captain. Wouldn't it be enough to fight back? Third, I'll hold him and run separately. You use the phone bug to contact the paladin. After holding tight, after the second child finished speaking, he was about to part ways, just happened to see a person walking in front of the corridor. Charlotte Asa, just him. The king was so quick-witted that he suddenly said, "You take him down," and then threatened his sister. The two Golden Knights were a little mad when they heard this. God, just smash it to death. The silly Hat King. Didn't they just say that? It's Asa's big brother. What a coincidence. You just said, who do you want to contact? Asa smiled. Like a scavenger, he put on a pair of black gloves, and immediately touched the floor-to-ceiling mirror on the lower side. Moment. There was a wave of waves in the mirror, and a huge body more than 4 meters high and almost dying was thrown out. Severed limbs, broken teeth, bloody flesh, ravaged and miserable. Boom. Immediately afterwards, a lady's boot stepped out of the mirror. It's time to change the knife again. The one that is wrapped around Hockey is really not durable. There was a trace of complaint and helplessness in the tone. After Linlin walked out, he threw away the rolled-edged giant sword. Kang-dang. A loud noise. Cracks appeared on the smashed ground, which also made the flesh of the Desert King and the two Golden Knights tremble violently. Holy, the paladin has become like that. The Desert King's face turned pale. What kind of monster did he provoke? It's over, it's completely over. After destroying a few ships, people came directly to the door. Who would have thought such a thing could happen? It's not solid. Asa stepped out of the shadows, looking amiable, but with a strong sense of oppression. The sword is supposed to be used a few more times. It's my little sister, are you losing your temper again? What did he think of? It's that Gluttonous rice man who speaks ill of you. Linlin's emotions seemed to have not calmed down. Brother, you can breathe. I left him a sigh of relief. As always, serve while it's hot. Asa was also polite, tapped with one foot, and the purple mist gushed out. Absorb all the desperate paladins and the two Golden Knights who are addicted to drugs. Because the latter two still have strength. So I jumped a few times, but I still couldn't escape the attraction and was swallowed by success. Little sister. Brother will help you find the handle some other day. It's a really good knife. Asa sucked while looking at Linlin. He can become stronger by devouring. But Linlin can't. So many times, Asa will focus on her, such as this knife. Little sister is too powerful. Even if there is Hockey wrapped around the sword body to increase the durability, but there are always negligence, and it is easy to break if you are not careful. Like now, with the all-round strength improvement, conventional weapons not only can't bear the strength, even Hockey can't bear it. Let alone broken. It will also cause the strength not to be fully exerted. Of course I want to solve it. It's very simple. That is to find the giant blade used by Linlin in the original book, Emperor Sword Napoleon. This sword, although it is not listed in the top 12 swords and is not included in the weapon series, its quality is definitely not inferior to the Supreme Sword. Just like Golden Lions, Sakura 10, and Mukuru, they belong to super famous swords. Top of the list. Same as Emperor Sword. This super class knife tool is used well, it can assist the user, and exert 120% of its power. After practicing the black knife, its power is doubled. If you have a chance, you must get it. Even with bare hands. Linlin waved his powder fist, and he took a breath, and looked at the king who hadn't dealt with it yet. Brother, how do you want to deal with him? Do not kill me. The king of desert was terrified when he heard the words, and he didn't want to die. By the way, Akoku. Do you know Akoku? Want to move him to suppress me? Asa immediately guessed the relationship between the two. Oh, that guy turned out to be playing around, using the emperor to command the princes. Okay, anytime he comes to me. There is nothing to be afraid of, just come if you want. If you can catch more delicious fish, why not do it? He also wants to try. Where is his cooking limit now? The king of desert was out of control now, and immediately changed his words. You guys, you probably don't know the location of the treasure house. I can take you there. Just, let me and my concubine go. Seeing that Ace's eyes were a bit strange, the king quickly changed his words. Just let me go, just let me go. Or, whatever you ask me to do, I will do. A good proposal. Ace's words made the desert king think that there was something to be said, but it seems useless to ask for you. As for the location of the treasure house, I have an easier way to know. As soon as the voice fell, before the desert king could say anything, he fell into a black mist. Before he died, he seemed to want to dial the phone and contact Akoku, but in the end he couldn't make it in time. Then die. So far, the desert kingdom has come to an end, and the rule has officially ended. At the same time, Asa opened up her appetite and began to absorb it with maximum efficiency. 3 golden knights, a great paladin, a king. The biggest improvement for him is the armed color. Originally, in this respect, Asa was stuck in the middle-level armed color, which was a short board. Enough is enough, but due to some technical reasons, it has been unable to break through. Now that he has mastered the relevant skills from the paladin, he has successfully made up for it. Breakthrough is a matter of course. Even, at the moment of breaking through to a high level, it was pushed to perfection in one fell swoop. Armed color, Dachung, call. Asa swung his right fist and gave a golden clang. Black texture, hardened. At the same time, on the basis of hardening, fist peak has added hockey winding. Immediately, it pressed against a 24 centimeters thick wall. Boom. With Ace's tentative exertion, a strong roar erupted. Boom boom boom. In the next room next door. A twisted column of air rushed through. All through. In the end, it spanned dozens of meters and penetrated the castle in the blink of an eye, forming a tornado, which caused the exclamation of countless refugees below. The slug boy's hairs are all blown up. It's going to change. For some reason, he was inexplicably excited. Ordinary people are different. The bottom of my heart is very uneasy, and the soldiers are the same, with sweaty palms and backs. Without him, what happened above determined the fate of this country. Unfortunately, what they don't know is that the moment the Charlotte brothers and sisters stepped in, the destiny of this country has already been decided. Inside the castle, Asa withdrew her hand, released Hockey, and looked aside. Little sister, take a breath. Linlin was a little confused, but he still did as his brother did, and blew lightly towards the wall. Wow, the wall instantly turned into ashes. After the cover was gone, Linlin's eyes widened suddenly, and after seeing the wall, there were huge holes running through it one after another. Pure hockey. Awesome. Or, a random hit. How did you do it? In Linlin's big eyes, apart from surprise, there was deep curiosity, full of thirst for knowledge. Before, no one taught us the way to follow the armed color, how to go. It's all right now. Asa smiled gently. Brother will take you away from now on. After Linlin came to his senses, he nodded vigorously. Nothing was said, nothing was said. Sometimes the feelings between two people need not be expressed verbally. Immediately, she continued to wait quietly, because she knew that her brother's absorption had not stopped. Asa is indeed digesting and taking stock at the same time. hardening, winding, external release, internal destruction. Learn all. In the process of converging. These 4 can be used superimposedly, the power and defense, and the span of increase is not generally large. It's just that I just realized it now, and it will take a while to settle. But it does not hinder the use. To reach such a point is the top of most people's understanding. Further up, at the level above the high level, Asa has a faint perception, perhaps it is the fusion of these 4 skills, a qualitative change. Or maybe like a fruit, it can be called awakening. In the world, I don't know if anyone has achieved it. In short, today's harvest alone is worthwhile. Others have also improved, the range is not large, but it is also worth several months of hard work. In addition to the above, also harvested 2 fruits, mirror and waxy fruit. The latter is more suitable for eating and developing than rongbaoji, so it is temporarily stored. Former. Then it was fused into the glove by Asa and refined into mirror glove. This fruit involving space, through the principle of mirror image, integrates multiple abilities into one body. Previously, this is how Linlin was released. Needless to say, it is very practical. Used well, it can even be said to be a strategic ability. According to the developer's memory, Asa is divided into 4 major abilities. Mirror world can be imprisoned, stored, sheltered, spied on, and communicated in real time. Reflection, the mirror image absorbs the attack and bounces back. Transformation, copy, you can change your body to reflect the object, and you can also make others transform. To a certain extent, copy the opponent's fruit ability, animals cannot have it. Scary. But there are also very big restrictions, such as the strength of copying, depending on one's own development, and one's own physical strength, etc. Hockey can't copy anything. Weak meets strong. No matter how it changes, it should be dropped by seconds or it will be dropped by seconds, but no matter how you say it, at least hang the imitation fruit. Very nice. Space jump. This is the main event. The mirrors figured out, shuttle each other, can achieve the purpose of teleportation. Leaving a mirror in Toto land later. No matter where you go. Sailing to other sea areas, or around the world, once something happens to your hometown, you can come back anytime you want to come back. Honestly, Asa is surprised to be able to swallow this ability, and there will be more room for development in the future. Elder brother. This land, will it belong to us in the future? Linlin's silver bell-like voice brought back Asa's mind, and she complained a bit. It is said to be the kingdom of desserts, but it is not at all like it. Searching for it is all fake dessert buildings. How yearning she was before she came, how disappointed she was when she arrived, it was not what she expected at all. Said to be the dessert kingdom. That is to say, it is rich in desserts, and the appearance is all decorations, nothing more. There is no such dreamy, unconstrained feeling. If I were queen, it's not so messy. Her words were implicated, as if implying something. Asa heard this and laughed. You are the queen, so what am I? As he spoke, he took out the gourmet blade. Seeing this, Linlin's beautiful eyes lit up instantly, as if she was waiting for this. Brother, of course it's the prince. No, it's the king. 1 country and 2 kings. What nonsense, Asa said interestingly. Know what you want to do, according to the previous plan, let's try boldly first. Before coming, there was a plan. Referring to the Cake Island in the original book, detailed drawings have been drawn up, which is more magnificent and ostentatious. Now you can make a shadow first. Read this. Asa handed the gourmet blade to the little girl, and said, don't scare the people outside, those will be our people in the future. All nations were first established. It is not a country in the true sense. After all, there is nothing to do now, and it needs to be rectified. There is no rush, just take it step by step. Got it, thank you bro. Linlin was very excited to take it, and jumped out of the hole at once. Immediately, a random slap on the back of the knife. While the residents were stunned, the places that were photographed turned into all kinds of cream cakes. Ice cream, chocolate. Asa went to the so-called treasury of the kingdom, not to mention, there are really a few devil fruits. Even a takeaway found a fruit illustrated book. According to the fruit control. Those are lick fruit, biscuit fruit, butter fruit, cream fruit. It is estimated that it was treasured by the king of desserts and kept by loyal courtiers for future development. Pity. Before it could be arranged in the future, it was cut off by Asa in advance. Are these going to be made into treasures? Single quote. The biggest advantage of the treasure. It is to turn the special fruit into a tool, not only for me, but also for Linlin and others. Quote. If you integrate into Homets, you will have more self-awareness, and add some restrictions, even if it is accidentally stolen. Single quote. No one else can use it. Single quote. But now these few, like the waxy fruit, are not suitable for melting treasures, they belong to the developmental fruit. What should I do? Single quote. Thinking about it, Asa gradually had a plan in her heart, or an idea. The attempt was successful. In the future, there will be more loyal and reliable family members. But there is a problem. Massive Homets is needed. It's going to take a while. Thinking, he gradually turned his attention to the other side. Financially, it sucks. Treasure house. In addition to the inside and outside, it does not exceed 3 billion Baileys, which is not as much money as Asa brings. As for the reason, obviously, successive years of wars have cost people in money. Not to mention that some of the surplus money was used by the kingdom to buy fruits, so it's no wonder it's not poor. Certainly, no money is not a big problem. After all, what are pirates best at? Just make money. A trip on the voyage can almost solve it. Linlin, has it already started? Suddenly, Asa moved his thoughts slightly, walked out of the treasure house, let go of his vision, and swept towards the central city. Above, Thundercloud Zeus, Prometheus of the sun. They all magnify their bodies, with a strong sense of oppression, to suppress the riots below. Listen, Master Asa and Mom. You, the king who cooperated with the great pirate Akoku from the outside world, Newman III, have been sanctioned. From now on, in this land and sea, there will only be one Guo. There will be no desert kingdom anymore. This island is renamed Cake Island. Capital, Gluttonous capital. This is not an announcement, it is an announcement. As soon as this remark came out, as expected, a large group of whispers sounded, and the soldiers also looked at each other in blank dismay. Do not know what to do. Talking thunderclouds and the sun, incredible. Wait, King, have you worked with pirates? Gold and paladins are so vulnerable. Are we considered a country of perish? The future will be ruled by pirates. There has never been such a thing. If what is said above is true, we were also manipulated by pirates before, no wonder we have been fighting for years. Quote. The emaciated crowd was noisy, until a few corpses were thrown out, and the scene suddenly fell silent. It's the kingdom and a few knights. Originally, they were absorbed by Asa, and then thought that the corpses would be useful, so they copied a few with mirror images. Really, letting it out is very intimidating. It also verified the fact that the desert kingdom no longer exists. Otherwise, there are still people with unrealistic fantasies. You now have two choices. 1. Become a citizen of all nations. 2. Leave on your own. If you choose to leave, you need to pay money. In addition, you must never step into the waters of Toto land. And at your own peril. Referring to the second article. Many people below, shop owners, and all levels of society opened their eyes wide. It seems that he didn't expect that he could still leave. Everyone's impression of the pirate brothers and sisters has greatly changed. You know, most people have the impression of pirates. They are all vicious, slashing people with knives at every turn. Can you let him go peacefully? Don't burn, kill and loot, build a country. Now, quite a few had saved up, and some were moved. Do you want to leave? Those who have no money have pale faces, and going to sea is like going abroad. Everything costs money. Moving, renting a boat, finding a place to live doesn't necessarily guarantee safety. New world in recent years. Pirates are getting more and more rampant. Safety is getting lower every year. Going is tantamount to death. Leave them alone. Sun Homets, Prometheus. Begin to read the new policy terms of the people of all nations according to memory. First, there are food prices, vegetable prices, meat price, fruit and vegetable prices. Only 1/10 of the previous price. Those who have no money can use their souls to trade in units of lifespan. And this is just the beginning. As the articles were read out, the basic necessities of life were in sharp contrast with the previous ones. Tens of thousands of residents opened their eyes wide. Breathing gradually became heavy, unbelievable. Is this real? 1/10 of the food price. Wouldn't that mean that everyone can have enough to eat? There really is such a system. Such a kingdom. But where does the food come from? It's impossible. Just change it out of thin air. Quote. The only thing that is not good is probably the reduced tax. 1 month of life is added every year. That is protection fees. But almost no one pays attention to this. What everyone really cares about is having enough food and safety issues. It's all over. Regardless of whether you are a pirate or a marine, if you can keep people alive, then follow you. A mere month of life wasted. What the hell? Especially food security. It is very important. Both the strong and the weak must face it. Reference Luffy. Sailing all the way, facing food crises many times. I don't know how many times I almost died of starvation. And the childhood Kaido. Often go hungry. The original intention was to make the whole world full of food. From this we can learn that, under the oppression of the world government and factors, how many people around the world can't eat enough. How many people? Because of this, I became a pirate. Todo Land's problems will only get worse. The capital is fine. After all, the capital can still operate. On the territory of the other small islands that were conquered, quite a few died of starvation. The king doesn't care at all. Now if they can eat a good meal, they will enthusiastically agree to whatever they want to do. So just one, full stomach, attractive enough to be fatal. Hello, didn't you see it? Just now, that evil goddess. No, it's the queen. She turned buildings into cakes. Then, can I eat it? I tried it. It's okay. Create things, make food. The queen's magical ability. Didn't Mr. Linlin say that? It's Mrs. Asa, to distribute her power to the queen. Use it to bless everyone. Long live, long live. Long live Master Asa. Long live the Empress. Quote. Those who were vacillating and wanted to leave suddenly lost their minds, let alone the poor. They were all blindsided. Of course, it's impossible to eat cream all the time. The staple food still has to rely on other things, which will cost money and life, and some people are nervous at first. But in the next few days, they knew that Wangguo had indeed fulfilled his promise. Perhaps for other countries, feeding the population is a big problem. But yes, the world with the gourmet blade. Not a problem at all. All things, all can be converted into food. At the same time. Only one day, a large number of residents have turned in their soul life, and the accumulation is massive. You're welcome. Charlotte Linlin made these, all homemades, arranged properly. Gradually, the prototype of the Cake Island has risen, and the houses, trees and animals have grown 5 senses. Anthropomorphism comes to life. Jumping and jumping, so lively. As time goes by, the people of other unreformed islands in the surrounding area are in front of the soul messenger with food. They are all madly surrendering their souls. The storage capacity of homemades skyrocketed again. These are all sent to Asa. Linlin also benefited from his busy schedule in the development and proficiency of soul fruit, ushering in an unprecedented breakthrough. After a while, it has approached infinitely, the degree of fruit awakening. The development is enough, and one step further is the integration of body, mind and technology, officially entering the awakening. This will take some time. Maybe soon, in a few months, or maybe very slowly, in a few years. It depends on a certain opportunity. In short, the progress is not small. Not only has a deeper understanding of the soul, but the double homades, Zeus and Prometheus, have also been strengthened to a certain extent. This time, the founding of Todo Land did not cause a big disturbance in the outside world, and because there was no deliberate publicity and construction. Nobody knew about it at all. In fact, there are many benefits to doing so. For example, have more time to develop without being disturbed. In the early days of the founding of the country, it's very important to make a time difference. If someone finds out, why, do you still want someone to congratulate you? Not too possible. Now, Wangguo is changing with each passing day, and after outsiders react, Asa can calmly deal with what they want to do. Certainly, there is no impenetrable wall in the world, and some pirates still found out about it. For example, some people who pay close attention to the Charlotte brothers and sisters. A winter island where a certain pirate gathers. Net Poseidon, Akoku. Some time ago, as the life cards dissipated, the owner of the throne on this island. His complexion became more and more gloomy. All dead. Charlotte, it's fine. The whole sea area of lousy. Akoku's heart is bleeding. After taking down Toto Land, he is still so low-key. Boss. Below, a few pirates sitting in bold and grandiose. Gather your subordinates, let's take advantage of the momentum and attack. Take it back. Charlotte's house. Just those two, just take it down. Idiot, do you want to make this matter known to everyone? Akoku is uncomfortable. There is still something to do right now. Interrupt at this juncture. If outsiders find out, where will I save face? Don't leak the news. After a while, Lousy will teach them a good lesson. Now, although it's noisy, Akoku suddenly sneered as he thought of something. Conquering the country is easy, but governing the country is not easy. How can it be so easy to be distracted from managing a country or a piece of sea? So many civilians without food. Pure mess. The reason why he didn't start early, kill the Desert King and replace him. That's why they're in all kinds of trouble. The time was not yet ripe. Occupied now. He didn't think it could be solved well either. Rock's pirate, has it radiated in the first half? It's a cancer. Belt. A specially powered marine ship is sailing in, aiming directly at 9 Snakes Island. This is a practice ship. The chief instructor on it is a semi-retired Marine old admiral, who is a woman. Not long ago, they were attacked by his subordinates. Sashin had old admiral in charge, and they were easily repelled. But at the same time, I also lost a treasure map. The important things recorded are buried in 9 Snake Island, and they may not even know it themselves. The mission of the fleet is to recover treasures. Boost. Don't let them take things away. The deputy instructor ordered. Sighed. The white-lined woman lying on the sun chair put down a newspaper. It is said that the recently famous Charlotte brothers and sisters have entered the waters of Toto Land. That's right, it's attacking the Desert Kingdom. The adjutant turned around quickly and nodded. Attack. The old woman snorted coldly. Even if it is captured, so what, will the pirates take care of it? I'm afraid it will become a pirate's paradise, right? It's a pity that the civilians suffered. What they don't know is that the newspaper is somewhat late with its own edition update. The same goes for the rest of the forces. Even if they knew about Jangwo, they would not take it to heart. They would only think that there was an extra chaotic pirate kingdom. In the context of the scramble for the throne. In recent years, there have been some like this every year. They do not understand the particularity of the nations. But, there is also a side. It is also the only party, sending people from the largest pirate paradise, Hive Island, to the waters of Toto Land. Elder brother, come and see. Our bounty has been refreshed. Time flies. In Toto Land 2 months later, it was almost evening. It's true, Marine is too slow to respond. At this moment, Charlotte Linlin took the newspaper from Chess Soldier and excitedly found Asa. Charlotte Asa. Bounty 1.2 billion Baileys. Ability Paramesha Munch Fruit. Suspected to have other special abilities, not yet clear. Reminder, the country thief. The value of force is unknown, extremely dangerous. With the corpse, you can exchange the bounty in full. Charlotte Linlin. Bounty 1.08 billion Baileys. Ability, Soul Fruit. Reminder, help the thief's sister to break away from the pirate supernova category, which is extremely dangerous. It's almost doubled. Linlin's tone was excited. The two of them exceeded 2 billion Baileys. How can there be a reward for the lord of a country, and he is still bluffing? Asa shook her head and laughed. Marine, he paid more attention to him, but not particularly, otherwise it would be even higher. Certainly, it is also very rare to improve to this level. After all, the big pirates in the New World today hover between 1 billion and 2 billion. They are considered to be big pirates. It's just that this country thief is too ugly. This is Linlin's only dissatisfaction. This world government, obviously doesn't recognize all nations. Under their care, it only took 2 months. The national happiness is much higher than before. Even outside countries can be ravaged. Thief, it can be done like this. Wouldn't it further prove the incompetence of the former king? The incompetence of outsiders? What do you want the world government to admit? Asa smiled. It was just the beginning. They don't know what is going on with Toto Land now. Blue. Suddenly, a phone bug on his body interrupted him. Master Asa, There are 2 Kurozumi members claiming to be members of the Rocks Pirate, and they sense something. On the edge of Toto Land, in the sea area, there are 34 islands scattered all over the sea, all of which are under Charlotte's command. And it was transformed, named in turn, cocoa, jam, nut, cheese, biscuit, candy, flavor, liqueur island, wheat, crunch, fluffy, Iceland, etc. All important positions are stationed, so the preliminary sea area defense line is in place. The intrusion of outsiders and the patrolling of homids can all be detected immediately, so they are initially blocked in the open sea. Kurozumi, the Kurozumi family. Is it attached to rocks? Asa was not too surprised. Put it in front of the teleportation mirror. After all, with his gloved right hand, he reaches for the side mirror. After a few seconds, a piece of parchment was pulled out. When I opened it, I found that it was a blueprint marking the treasure location, with the exact location. Emperor Sword. Location: Hydra Island, Amazon Lily. Little sister. He turned to look aside. What's wrong, bro? Seeing his expression, Linlin took it over, and seeing it, she was also very pleasantly surprised. Napoleon. A super famous sword at the same level as the Supreme Sword, such a coincidence. It's a coincidence, I'll give you a pillow when I'm sleepy. Ace's eyes flickered, and then he looked at the phone bug. Where are the 2 Kurozumi? Leave after delivery. I will leave you a word. What words? Say this as a meeting ceremony. 3 months later, Hive Island will hold a super grand event. The phone bug continued. I have invited all the famous pirates in the world, and you are one of them. Of course, this treasure map was given to you alone. I hope you can arrive, there will be surprises. Yeah, Asa finds it even more interesting. 10 years ago, the young and energetic Rocks also held a calling meeting on Beehive Island, but no one responded at that time. Not only that, all kinds of ridicule continue until today, 10 years later. Everything has changed. In this non-inflationary era, the bounty of Rocks exceeding 3 billion Baileys is unprecedented. One-on-one, there is no opponent yet. Sit firmly in the name of the strongest pirate. Ambition, courage, strength. Almost all of them are in place, and now they are elated and called again. No one dares to turn a blind eye. Brother, shall we go? Linlin blinked his eyes wide. At the beginning of the founding of the country, except for those few friends from the Lamb's house, who quietly sent congratulatory gifts. The rest are ignored. Rocks is the first. Go. Asa accepted the treasure map. Why don't you go? After all, everyone has given you a meeting gift. An unprecedented gathering of pirates. It will definitely be a gluttonous feast. We haven't really contacted the top powerhouses yet. As for the location of this blueprint, 9 Snake Island. Go, even if something unexpected happens. After all, the weapon in his hand is rare, and he promised his little sister. Aha, Linlin was also very moved. There is also that Akoku, maybe he is planning to wait for us on the Hive Island. That's right, bro. Suddenly, she thought of something. Have you achieved any results recently? There is. Asa nodded. These days, the world in his belly has absorbed a large amount of Homit's version soul. Although the purity is much weaker than that of ordinary people, it cannot hold up to a large amount. Ace's soul strength was pushed sideways. With the strength of his soul, he is also very handy in many things. The most intuitive ones are learning talent, brain expansion, and so on. It's about strength. Just like comprehension, everyone has an upper limit. Some people specialize in hockey all their lives, and some specialize in kendo. Too much to chew. Sometimes it can be digested, but it does not necessarily mean that it can be absorbed. No matter how much you learn, you will only forget. Like a pond, it can only hold so much, but Asa is different. The soul has been improved, then it can hold more. The upper limit will continue to rise. Also, with more energy, there have been results on Homitz's side. For example, chess soldiers. This is, in addition to the formerly recruited King's Army, Linlin created a group of soldiers who were truly loyal. The total is 3,000. Divided into infantry, bishop soldiers, knight soldiers, queen soldiers, king soldiers. Strength varies. Responsibilities: scouting, guarding, protecting territory. Many troublesome things can be handed over to them. Different from the false and fragile Homits in the original book who was crushed by Brook, these are composed of Asa, Gluttonous belly, which is almost real soul. Just like munch fruit, if you eat miscellaneous metals, you can combine them into Wabo alloys. Asa was thinking, he can still swallow souls, so can a new soul be formed by means of tempering? Higher quality than Homits. Facts have proved that it succeeded, and it is no different from human beings, with great intensity. Huang Quan's restraint may not be able to form restraint. In addition to these, Asa also used the talent memory, stored in the bookshelf, to integrate with Homits to create the elite ministers needed by all nations. For example, the one in charge of finance, military affairs, and traffic management. This is also can integrate 34 islands and form a regular army. The reason why it can be organized in 2 months. No one in the outside world would have thought that it could develop to such a degree in just 60 days. In terms of high-end combat power, it is not enough. Or simply say no. Plus, there is no money left. Building a country is like an investment. It costs too much money in the initial stage, but only in the later stage will it be profitable. There is no rush for high-end combat power. Single quote. Asa has already had an idea in this regard. As for finances, you can take the opportunity to find Emperor's sword and you can also settle it along the way. Single quote. Like Sky Island gold. Elder brother. Then, what you promised. Linlin. Asa didn't react for a while. What's the matter? Family expansion. Now Charlotte, just the two of us, so lonely. Charlotte Linlin, with hopeful eyes. Little sister wants children, more family. Hearing this, Asa raised her eyelids slightly. I'll be too busy with a lot of things in the future. Charlotte Linlin quickly explained. Family members are more loyal and reliable if they are connected by blood. The best of all nations. It's still possible to have family members of different races. This is what she has always expected, and it is also one of the original intentions of establishing Wangguo. Asa expected it. What should come still has to come. Of course he is also prepared. The seeds of high-end talents are indeed few. So you want to have children? While asking, he passed the phone bug and ordered to dock the built ship. Linlin was about to say something, but seeing his brother's expression, he changed his mind and said, "Brother, are you pregnant?" There are many concubines left by the former king in the palace. Little sister supports you. Before continuing to speak, Asa shook her head. Then, little sister's next life? Linlin asked tentatively again. What do you think? Asa half-jokingly said. You have grown up and want to marry out and leave brother. Linlin waved his hands quickly. For fear of making my brother unhappy. In her worldview, apart from a father whose life and death are unknown to men, and who has a vague impression, there is only an elder brother. Other men, compare with my brother. Linlin wasn't even interested in taking another look, and even felt an inexplicable sense of disgust. It is now and it will be in the future. Can't stand anyone else. So you want one life, and you want to have different races. Asa's rhetorical question made Linlin think it was a dead end, until the elder brother took another turn. It's not impossible. Linlin opened his eyes wide. Look first. Asa spread out her palms, and mist emerged. A woman. Even if it is a strong person, giving birth to a child, no matter what, it is still an irreversible damage. Every life is a great loss of vitality. Even the stronger the existence, the more energy it takes to give birth to cubs. Make up. Of course it can be made up after giving birth, but it is time-consuming and labor-intensive, greatly affecting the progress of cultivation. It will also accelerate the aging of the body. Still remember. In the original book, Big Mom gave birth to 85 children. At first, the quality was not bad, and 3 generals were born. And Owen and the others. But later on, it got worse and worse, and Ka-Er's talent was far from amazing at the beginning. So, Asa is absolutely forbidden. The younger sister gave birth to a baby. And the life just mentioned is naturally another kind, the kind that has no side effects at all. Wow. In Linlin's line of sight, several light clusters appeared in Asa's palm. This is devil fruit. This is new soul combined by new Homits. This is a high-quality blood extracted from a certain race. You can add some blood as you like. Asa pricked some of her blood, black mist emerged from her hands, and squeezed several light spheres together, a new embryo of life will be formed, and they will grow up to be your only one. Besides, she is born with fruit ability, so she is more handy in the development of ability. When he pulled his hands apart, he could vaguely see the curled-up baby in the ball of light. After that, the petri dish can be used as a surrogate. The whole process seems simple, but in fact, not too difficult. Create man. This made Linlin on the side look incredible. That's it. Create human beings. Isn't it written in some books, creator? What can a god do? Elder brother. After that 10 months, I will be there, mother. Linlin asked cautiously, do you want some blood too? As long as it's the blood of the Charlotte family, it's the same. I will listen well. Asa misunderstood her meaning. And Linlin, she also bit her red lip, and said with some coyness, but, they don't have a father anymore. Heard that, Asa was a little silent, and immediately corrected, I'm uncle. Is this silly girl pretending to be stupid, or teasing him on purpose? How can I let my brother be my father? All right. 5 fruits, I have integrated 5 different races, and it can be regarded as giving to the future of the world, cultivate the family in advance. Certainly, not only Paramesha, animals and Logia can also be integrated. In the future, the fruit will be either a treasure or a human being. Asa let out a long breath. Integrating the blood of various races, the future diversified city of Gluttony will definitely surpass the original Cake Island. Do this first. The affairs of the nations have been dealt with and come to an end. Next, let's get to the point. If you want Guo to continue to develop and go on, your own strength is the biggest cornerstone. 3 months left. Before the Feast of the Hive Island begins, he intends to hit the summit with all his strength. Of course, the younger sister can't be pulled down either. I just ordered the boat to go down, and it's almost ready now. Guo for 2 months. It's time to go out. Brother will take you to take 9 Snake Island Emperor's sword first. After Linlin was rejected, he seemed a little sullen and slightly depressed, but after hearing the Emperor's sword, in an instant, the momentum came. The previous weapons were too brittle. What used to suit her? The largest few good knives with 50 knives were easily broken, and there were not many hardy duels at all. So she is very eager for a good knife. But, is this blueprint really all right? Could there be other forces too? Are they rushing over? Charlotte Linlin, after calming down, rarely had any doubts. It is difficult for pirates to be honest. The 2 Kurozumi people left in such a hurry, their intuition was unreliable. Maybe, but if it's rocks, Asa shook his head. I think his more intention is to see our specific strength. But, since you want to see, then see you. With mirrored gloves, even if you are in danger, you can evacuate at any time. Outsiders, stop, it's Marine, and only 1 Marine ship. Don't worry so much, tell the Empress first. It has been a few days since Asa sailed, Calm Belt, Hydra Island. With the bells ringing, let the whole people become soldiers. The entire island was in a tense atmosphere, and these female warriors. The movements were nimble, and soon a pair came to the high cliff. Draw the bow, wrap hockey into an arrow. Although hockey is the lowest level, it can still form a strong fighting force despite the large number. Clatter. Soon, there was the sound of high-heeled footsteps. The current empress in a floral cheongsam led the 12-year-old Shaki, the candidate for empress, to the top. Even the former Marine Admiral, Silver Wolf Natalie, has been dispatched. The empress narrowed her eyes and put one hand on her waist. Marine, what's the matter with you? The woman below, she is the first female admiral among the previous Marines, and she is the Zone Phantom Beast fruit ability user. Special and powerful. It is also rumored that there is no mercy for pirates. Once they match up, there is absolutely no way to live, no matter men, women, old or young, it is the same. Extreme and cold-blooded. This is also the style of work, which caused her to make many mistakes, entered the office and retired, and served as the chief instructor for many years. Happily, the outstanding students she taught, such as Sengoku Garp, etc., were not as cruel as her after graduation. Find something. On the warship, the old woman known as Silver Wolf didn't speak, but the male adjutant spoke for her. Empress 9 Snakes, please let us in, it won't waste too much time. The female soldiers above were a little surprised to learn that Marine did not come here because of the payment. What kind of wind is this? What? Sorry, I don't have permission to tell you. It's a joke, you don't even want to tell my concubine anything, so you just want to come in and play wild. Facing this admiral, the Empress did not retreat half a step, and with a glance of her eyes, she roughly understood. The little marine you brought, with that immature face, I'm afraid she has just graduated. She snorted coldly. You guessed right, but unfortunately there is no reward. Natalie raised her eyelids, stood up, and raised her hand backwards. Don't worry. It's not the first time I've seen pirates, lads. Let's all do it. Old rules. Calculate the record based on the pirate's head. Be careful and safe. That's all. In the rear, the young marine with hundreds of guns hesitated when he heard the words. Killing female pirates. Still so much. Chief teacher. He, who had just become the chief of staff and was at the pinnacle of beauty, also stepped forward, hesitating to speak. Their main purpose is to find the Emperor sword. Assessment. That old woman actually took us as the test object. As this marine. It's really annoying when I see you for the first time. Then let's see, which side is training soldiers. Get ready, shoot the arrow. Crane hadn't finished speaking. The female soldiers above couldn't help it, and became angry. After giving an order, they all fired at the warship. Not good. Don't be afraid, what power can a bow and arrow have? My brother, that's with hockey. Don't hesitate, hit back. These female pirates, you are not welcome at all. Quote. There was a little confusion on the training ship before responding. Natalie shook her head. Fine, this group is all elites, and after slowing down, a preliminary confrontation soon formed. Available. We still have to build a decent warship. The boat on Ace's side is still some distance away from Nine Snake Island. Not long ago, after entering the calm belt, the sailboat lost its power, and it was really difficult for ordinary boats to move here. Afterwards, Linlin proudly grabbed two snake-shaped sea kings. Close to 100 meters. Thick and big. After injecting two souls and turning them into animal helmets, the speed of the hull soared instantly. Like racing, it is more than 10 times faster than ordinary sailing. Hoo-hoo. The wind is howling. Asa sat cross-legged on the bow of the boat, blowing the sea breeze, thinking in her heart. Now that she has arrived at Nine Snakes Island. This group of beautiful and delicious nine-snake female pirates. Can it also be included? But if you think about it carefully, with their exclusiveness, it's not easy to handle. As time passed by, Asa had a premonition. I always feel that someone will be one step faster than us. I don't know if it's because of the knowledge. Is it full speed? Elder brother. Both of them are almost tired of spitting. Linlin, standing on the snake's head, poked the snake's head, feeling a little helpless. Then kill them and exchange them for two more. Just as Asa finished speaking, the two sea kings, who were spitting out bubbles, immediately swallowed them in a jerk, bursting out their potential. Emperor Tien paid off, and soon, the outline of an island appeared in the field of vision. It seems to be here. Asa, who closed her eyes for a nap, opened her eyes first before Linlin could yell out. Describe the surroundings seen by the knowledgeable color as a net to catch marine animals. What is caught now is basically small fish and shrimp. Only one. It was the most plump, muscular, and murderous giant piranha he had ever seen. Even at the age of 6. The CP0 detected with knowledge color is far less than it is. There is real food that deserves our careful cooking. Little sister, I think we should get serious. It's just that the taste may be a bit old. Linlin on the snake's head just turned his head when he heard the old brother say something inexplicable. And found that the man had seen only the restless wind left by the bow. Still, it's the first time I see my brother in such a hurry. No, find a cover, quickly find a cover. Although the ammunition is sufficient, they still can't break through in a short time. There are still too many of them. Dive with me. This operation is a group unit, so the intern marines seem to be a little scattered. Same, an effective strike cannot be formed for a while. It seems, it's still up to me, my wife, to help you open up the situation first. Keen, Xiaohei, stay close. Chief Instructor Natalie, stepping on one foot, shuttling through the rain of arrows, as fast as lightning. Less than a second, then spanned a distance of 100 meters and moved to the top of the cliff. Facing the Empress, with a punch, the air exploded. Boom. The Empress shrank her pupils, and just had time to put her hands on her chest when she was blown away. Accompanied by the sound of bones breaking, the heart was shocked. This is the power an old woman should have. Sister Snake Princess. Master Snake Princess. Not good, aim at her. As soon as the surrounding female warriors made a move, they were swept away by a whirling tempest kick, accompanied by a circle of blood splashing out, and their upper and lower bodies were separated. Miserable. Yes, as a woman, Natalie has no mercy. Even after one hit, for the first time, he set his sights on the little Shaki who escaped unharmed due to his height. And little Shaki, no matter how courageous he was, he would still be quite frightened after splashing a lot of blood on his face. At this moment, he froze in place, his body trembling. Little devil, it's your fault for being too close. Natalie flicks her fingers and shoots the finger pistol. At the critical moment, little Shaki was thrown down. Fortunately, escaped again. He risked his life to save him. It seems that this brat has an unusual status. Natalie is expressionless. Glancing at the 9 snake cadres, he and Cohen, who were working together, withdrew their eyes. Don't be indecisive like Zephyr. Otherwise, it will be a big loss sooner or later. After all, she didn't waste time. Her right hand became a claw, and she grabbed again. Perfume femur. Suddenly, there was a light sound from the side. A distorted figure struck. Idiot, I really don't even have any common sense about combat. Natalie, who was in the middle of the rush, turned around with a strange smile, and coincidentally grabbed the Empress. Ankle bone, you guys are really staying so comfortable. Pirates. The voice did not fall. Her right hand turned into a white velvet claw, and the cold air swept out, starting from the ankle bone, freezing the Empress instantly. Still not grinding. With the vacated right hand into the palm of the knife, directly chopped her into pieces. Crack, clatter. The pieces of meat fell all over the floor along with the crumbs. The pupils are already lifeless. A generation of pirate empresses is doomed. No. Snake Queen, Sister Snake Princess. See this scene. The little Shaki nearby was lost in his eyes for a while, and the mother-in-law who was hiding in the distance almost fainted. Not to mention the other female warriors, they all shouted. Today is destined to be a nightmare for 9 Snake Island. I don't even know the information about my fruit ability. Dare to get close, Natalie whispered. The corners of his wrinkled mouth were slightly pursed. He took out the timer, and pressed it. Sure enough, I'm still old, and it took 30 seconds. This decisive, the vigorous style made the elite Marines who were still on the deck below tremble. Is this the former admiral? As expected of an admiral-level powerhouse. Fortunately, they are from our marine. Stunned. Yep, they're still seeing for the first time, the total instructor shot. It was too sudden. Anyway, the Empress has vice admiral level strength, right? Just dropped in seconds. Boom. After a few seconds. There was a light sound on the deck, like a landing. Only on the side. The best hearing, the pockmarked intern marine heard it. He turned his head and found that it was a stranger he had never seen before. Younger than myself, but the height required him to look up. One step too late. The man with extraordinary appearance sighed, but it shouldn't be. What? A Sacco marine asked while staring at his face. It seemed familiar. Where did he see it? I mean, if I don't come, 9 Snake Island, wouldn't it be slaughtered? The little girl, Shaki, will also die. So where is Rayleigh's old friend in future generations? After the words were finished, Marine with a pockmarked face became more and more confused. He knows the individual characters, but how to combine them, he can't understand at all. I haven't waited to think too much. One by one Marines around them suddenly exclaimed. Look, behind. What's wrong? Then, are those 2 Sea Kings? There is a pink and purple boat behind you. It is tugging the boat, and it can actually drive the Sea Kings. It's so cool, but look at the flag. Is it a pirate ship? What are you afraid of? With the chief instructor here, I guess one of them is gone. This is an assessment. It is impossible to help all the time. Quote. The sound here made the entire battlefield stagnate, and Natalie also stopped, turning her head and frowning. And pirates. Is it someone under the rocks? Boom. Soon, on the big boat whose main theme is desert, a pink shadow rose into the sky. She stepped on the clouds and instantly attracted Marine's attention. The 9 snake warriors are still in grief, and most of them have no time to take care of them. It's Charlotte Linlin, the 16-year-old monster. It should be brother and sister. But what about his elder brother? It seems that he is not on the ship, and he didn't see it in the telescope. Quote. Is the unexpected person. Just when everyone on the training ship was looking ahead, they were concentrating on looking for Asa. Marine, with a stiff head and a pockmarked face, looked to the side with a chill down his spine. Gulu, he swallowed. No wonder it's so familiar, I saw it on the reward order. Yes, before the departure, the teacher also posted it, let everyone remember, one of them is Asa. Special note, one of the most potential pirates in New World. A reward of 1.2 billion Baileys is now offered. With a pockmarked face, Marine subconsciously took a step back. Look left and right. I found that the students seemed to be blind, and they didn't look this way. It wasn't until I bumped into someone that a chain reaction started, and the intern Marines all looked back in astonishment. Then, almost no friar. Charlotte Asa. When? At this. It's so close. There was an instant commotion on the training ship. The appearance of Asa is equivalent to a time bomb falling from the sky, which will detonate at any time. We just didn't even notice him at all. 9 Snake Island Highlands. Crane and Cohen are equally slow-witted. Impossible. According to the latest situation, brother and sister Charlotte, after conquering the Kingdom of Deserts, they are resident in Toto Land. Guess what? Why are you here? Crane suddenly remembered something. Yes, Emperor Sword. Doesn't Sister Asa just use a sword? Thinking of this, she quickly looked at Natalie, and found that the chief instructor just squinted his eyes and did not act rashly. I don't know if I am concerned about the safety of the students. Crash. Below, the gunshots sounded, facing the time bomb of Asa. These are not the little Marines of bomb disposal experts. I can only keep backing up, and at the same time quickly pick up the gun, in a cold sweat, point it. Only the closest distance. Marine with a pockmarked face similar to tied to the body wants to cry but has no tears, and looks like hurry up and save me. Can't escape. Don't dare to move at all. As for resistance, being able to come to the warship in an instant, and without making a sound, already shows his strength. Against what? That is suicide. Take it easy. Asa put her hand on the pockmarked Marine's shoulder, which made the latter tremble. I won't kill anyone I see, like the old woman above. He poised his head and was also observing Natalie. Don't move. Suddenly, it was the teacher who was leading the team with a knife shouting, you actually broke in by yourself. Now, you are surrounded by us. Internship Marine on the ship will also wrap hockey around the bullet, but look at the look. No sense of security at all. Mama. A loud and crisp voice sounded from behind. Wolf into the flock, can that still be called encirclement? This sound. Let half of the Marines aim their guns and muzzles at high altitude. Little sister. According to the location on the drawing, go to Napoleon first. Asa glanced at the sky like no one else. That's what matters. But bro. Linlin hesitated slightly. This old woman seems not simple, It's okay. Asa didn't say much. Well, Linlin doesn't grumble, this is a long-standing tacit understanding. She stepped on the sole of her foot, and Zeus immediately gained strength. Fly to 9 Snake Island. Their goal is indeed the Emperor's sword. Did the rocks join? Or did the rocks leak to them? No matter what, stop it. Seeing the approaching eyes, Cohen and Crane jumped up quickly. They all have the strength above Rear Admiral. Tempest kick. Fire from the sky. After Linlin noticed it, he manipulated Prometheus to throw it next. Boom. Exploding flames, exploding with the slashing Tempest kick. The heat wave of the former was so strong that it destroyed Tempest kick in an instant, exceeding expectations, and by the way, Cohen and he were blown away. Call. Boom. The two fell to the ground. He was also pushed back by the aftermath. And after the smoke cleared, there was no shadow in the sky. It's so fast. They stalk. Unexpectedly, Danyan called out first, okay. I don't know if the main thing is to protect the safety of the students. Let her go. Natalie, who was wearing a cloak of justice, started to take a step, and the two stopped their unnecessary movements. Charlotte Asa, I saw you in the newspaper some time ago. I didn't expect that we would meet so soon. After she calmed down, She couldn't see the indiscriminate killing at all when she spoke. By the way, do you know me, old lady? Do you have a grandson named Sakazuki? Asa didn't answer the question. Immediately glanced at the messy high place, the little Shaki who bit his lip and held back tears. Are all the code names of wolf and dog in your marine so cruel? Akainu, not to mention facing pirates, in order to achieve the purpose of the mission, it will not hesitate to kill civilians. In terms of momentum and character, it is really similar to this silver wolf. You did inquire about me. Natalie blinked slightly. Asa was also a little surprised, really. How? Natalie suddenly looked not far away, all of the 9 snake warriors with red eyes and resentment. It's okay to smile. Not only do you want to take the Emperor's sword, but you also want to stand up for them. During the confrontation chat, the Marines on the ship below took advantage of this opportunity to step back little by little under the gaze of the teacher leading the team. We all know that keeping it will only become a burden and will not help at all. On the contrary, don't worry about their words, Mr. Instructor, maybe the crisis can be resolved in an instant. Yes, the move against 9 Snake Empress Delu just now has given everyone great confidence. Above, seeing that she had almost retreated to a safe distance, Natalie also changed her voice. Speaking of which, ask for such details. I even know my grandson. Did I kill your family members before? Seeing that Asa still had no expression on her face, she seemed to be thinking about something. She smiled. It seems so, for someone with a grudge like you. My wife used to travel across the sea. 8 if not 10. Today, I will play with you again. Talking, she threw the counter to the crane not far away, intentionally or unintentionally lowering her voice. I heard that this pirate has awakened hockey, which is a bit interesting, and it may not be all because of my sister. In terms of strength, at least it is Grandmaster hockey. Look carefully. Not only can the fools below learn, but it will also be helpful to you. 3 minutes. Cherish it. Let's count down. Just after Silver Wolf Natalie finished speaking, Crane seemed to have returned to the past when he heard the words. I became a student again, following the teachers. Every timing battle is cherished. After reading this, she nodded in response, keeping quiet. The 1.2 billion bounty offender has never been encountered since the voyage. Like just now, 9 snake pirates 1 piece Empress, the reward is 700 million Baileys. In fact, it is not low. Don't think it's easy to kill, it's because the teacher shot. Has a wealth of experience in fighting against the enemy, knows his weaknesses, and adds means to achieve instant kill. For other people, even if Admiral is a substitute, it may not be possible to win in a short time. And Asa, although she is 500 million more than the Empress, she still believes in the teacher. Crack, it is also an instant. The retired Admiral Natalie bent her knees, and the ground beneath her feet cracked 10 meters away. Turned into an afterimage. Fly out. This time, it was faster than when jumping to kill the Empress before. Buzz. High in the sky, the mass of armed colors on her right paw poured out. Aim for Asa to crush. Like a rocket launcher. And before making the move, the Marines who retreated to the edge also had a premonition in their hearts. Seeing it now makes me even more excited. It's done. What will the chief instructor do this time? This hockey attainment, when will we achieve it? Wait, Mozzie hasn't come here yet. I can't control that much anymore. This is an internship, and sacrificing a student is inevitable. Soon. My heart is pounding. Look carefully, the head teacher used to be Admiral, and the number of times she fought against the enemy has always been counted on one's fingers. Indeed, it is a rare opportunity. Quote. The Marines suppressed their emotions. Just like I watched the Empress before, I used Asa as an experimental teaching material, refusing to let it go, staring at the sky. To be honest, feeling at close range is 10 times better than oral explanation, and even those with strong comprehension can improve instantly. Not without such a precedent. At the same time, Natalie, who gathered all the hockey in one arm, appeared on her body, a phantom of a giant prehistoric wolf. Only, see below Asa seems to have just recovered, and Natalie can't help raising her eyebrows slightly. Still distracted, HMPH, she is not polite. This blow, even if it was eaten by Vice Admiral from the headquarters, it would be hit in an instant. Squeak. All of a sudden, the sudden compression on the deck made all the Marines breathless, and even Asa, who was in the center, raised her head. As for mind wandering, naturally impossible. I was just thinking, facing an opponent that is close to the admiral level, how should we deal with it? After all, it is an opponent that has never been seen before. The reason why I say almost is because this woman is nearly 80 years old. The strength must have declined, but the rich experience can make up for it. So Asa, don't underestimate this battle, take it seriously. Then, let's begin. Asa took a deep breath, feeling excited like never before. Immediately, at a speed that was too blurred to see clearly, he quickly raised his hand. Withdraw your right leg and gather strength in your palm. Bone fingers close together, from fist to palm. Clang, clang, clang. At the critical moment, armed color. Hardening, twine, internal destruction. Triple stack. It's like opening 3 pulse doors, making a metallic sound. Hoo-hoo. Beautiful soccer of flowers flutter in the palm of your hand. The black robe printed with mysterious patterns surged crazily under high pressure. Immediately, forward beat. Yes, there is no move name. But it is a normal blow with all your strength. The fruits of hockey he devoured all these years. Pluto Wolf. This retired admiral has a move name. Language fall. The silver-white right paw emits a cold light. Mixed with unparalleled power, collided with Asa. Just when the 10 fingers are about to meet. The center flashed and exploded. Crack. Peach-black lightning cracked out. Seeing this, Natalie's face couldn't help but twitch. Before she could say more, her offensive was exhausted if she couldn't hold on for a second. Massive hockey flooded in. In turn, the right arm was implicated. It's armed, and it's ultimate. Boom. Under the fluttering hockey, something even more frightening happened. Natalie's arm was twisted into a twist, from the palm, to the wrist, the forearm and the root of the big arm. Start pulling the bones. In a blink of an eye, the whole strip exploded. Bursts of blood mist burst out. Boom. Under the severe pain and the blow of the hurricane, Natalie, who lost her right arm, flew upside down in the air at an even faster speed. Confused eyes, messy mind. It seemed that even she didn't realize what was going on, why this hockey was so massive, it was shocking. This guy, Warship Edge, the Marines, who were holding a learning attitude and didn't want to miss a second, were stunned when they saw her flying upside down. On the high cliff, Cohen's pupils dilated suddenly, and he was a little suffocated, as if he couldn't accept it. The person he admired, the invincible teacher, actually. Tick-tock. Staff Crane's body was even more stiff. And the chronograph she was holding firmly in her hand only barely beat 3 times from the beginning to the end. In other words, 3 seconds. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.